What's going on, everybody? Welcome to tonight's broadcast of the ACL. We are coming at you live with the upper finals. We're down to 4 teams. That means we're making it over to best of 5s. And right here, we're going to be featuring the winner's side final. It's going to be between Citadel and Conviction Star. My name's Gordo, and I am joined by special guest Prosperity Esports mid laner, Fulls. Welcome aboard, Fulls. So happy to have you, man.
Yeah, glad to be aboard. Welcome to everybody else. It should be a wonderful show tonight. Citadel in the house versus Conviction Star. Gonna be a good series, man. Best of 5.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can't wait to get into some Fearless Best of 5s for this season. It's about time. Also live over on the Salt Mine with the lower bracket semifinal. That matchup is between Pookie Bear and Galaxy Gaming. Going to determine who our final matchups are. The top 3 going to be coming in with the lower final on Monday and the grand final a week from today, assuming no reschedules get in the way along there. So really starting to wind down the spring 2025 ACL. And we're going to kick things off here with 2 of the most dominant teams throughout the entire season. Citadel, of course, start off with them. They come in as heavy favorites the whole way through. They are going to be starting off on the blue side. We can bring up their roster here. It's going to be Philip, Kenvi, Bradley, Instinct, and Diamond. At least we assume it's going to be Philip in the top lane. We list Porsche as the normal starter, but they've been running Philip since that promotion tournament and their whole playoffs run.
Yes, sir. Crazy killer roster we have here, if I may say.
Absolutely here. Really looking forward to what they're going to be able to show us. And I mean, all ex-NACL players, all players who have really performed at the NACL level. I mean, as I brought this up on the Salt Mine earlier the week, assuming they're running the Philip roster, every player on this team has played at tier 1 as well. Bradley, it's only 1 game, and it's as a top laner, but hey, it counts. That means all 5 been at the LCS level previously, and when you're coming on down to ACL, it's going to make you a pretty heavy favorite, and they have shown it throughout their run so far.
Yeah, should be the heavy favorite tonight. Hopefully not a 3-0 like we were saying, but I mean, I have a feeling it might be. I really do. So see what happens. We will.
We will. So let's check out then their opposition. Starting off on the red side, it's going to be Conviction Star. This roster running through the whole season, starting as a tier 2 seed, but showing that they could surpass that incredibly quickly. It's Lawrence, Maddie, Doxa, Nightstar, and Pika Pika from top to bottom. 3 out of 5 members from the Cupid Esports roster that will be playing in the promo tournament with Citadel starting in about a week, but also bringing in Lawrence and Doxa, who've had themselves some pretty strong OQ runs, some pretty strong ACL runs in their history as well.
Oh yeah, and I would say the main kind of nameplate of this roster might have to be Nightstar for me. I mean, from going against him and from watching the team play, it seems like as long as you enable this guy to be on a carry, you know, particularly with Doxa on an AP champ in the mid lane, I think the 2 of them can run over pretty much any team.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with Nightstar and Pika Pika as a bot lane as well. Somewhere I'm looking for them to get an advantage. And what's really been interesting about this team, in my view, especially throughout their playoffs run, is how much they've been willing to really play through Lawrence, right? He's been Ambessa, Gnar, Jace, Rumble kind of the whole way through. Rumble, the only one of those champions that it feels like has been a Lawrence classic throughout most of his career. And it feels like even in his peak seasons, like when he qualified for NACL with Blue Otter, he's a little bit more of a supportive guy, a little bit more of a weak side warrior. But this season, it's been all about the Ambessa, all about the Jace, and he has been absolutely dominant, winning matches up against teams like Galaxy, teams like Deathmark, and teams like Prosperity.
Oh yeah, I mean, from going up against his Ambessa and his Gnar, he's putting up stats. He's no joke up there either. So they've got a full house roster, to say the least, as well.
Yeah, definitely. Looking to see what kind of fight they're going to be able to put up here up against Citadel. I do believe they are running, yep, I've just gotten confirmation. They're running the Philip roster today, so it's going to be Philip up in the top lane. There was a couple of matches where they ran Philip mid, Bradley bot, Porsche top, but I think that was more of a kind of emergency substitution situation rather than the roster they intend to run for their ACL playoffs. And once you get to these final few matches, you know, this is where the big money is. So this is definitely where they're going to want to run their starting 5 any opportunity they get. Already going to see some of these real carry-focused bands from Citadel.
I know what's happening here. It's going to be the Azir B1. It's going to be the Azir B1. How could they fall into this trap, Gordo? Come on. This is clear as day.
Yeah, Bradley gets his second Azir game of the split here. This is a guy who, this is a thing that you're going to notice about Citadel, or at least that I'm going to be bringing up about Citadel as we get deeper and deeper into these drafts. There is no team in the ACL with less footage on them than Citadel, because not only has Citadel won a ton of series in 2-0 fashion, they've also gotten forfeited against twice. So they have so few matches actually in ACL that it kind of throws off their stats a fair bit. Bradley hasn't played a single champion more than once. This is here now going to be the first champion that he's played more than once.
I mean, to give Conviction some credit here, I mean, they did just draft what's known as sort of the NACL OQ or the ACL Thanos and Thanos' right hand. I mean, with the Pantheon Talia, this is like as bread and butter as it gets. This might beat out the Azir in draft stock, but then again, it is Bradley. Where are you leaning here?
Yeah, I mean, it's a strong. This is LCK used to call this Avengers, right? When he was playing as a bot lane duo. Now it's jungle mid, so it's a little different. Not quite the same thing, but Pantheon Talia still quite the strong duo here. It's going to be a real reliable way to try to punish that Azir in the mid lane for Doxa and Maddie. At least that's where we assume these champions are going to be going. The Xin Zhao going to get snapped up for Kenvi, and there's going to be a blind Gwen for Philip that will give counter pick over to Lawrence. Not that the Gwen has the most vulnerable matchups there, but see if Lawrence can find himself a little angle to try to get an advantage at the top lane like Conviction likes, and there's the Jax for him. They go right for it.
Okay, that's a fire versus fire matchup. That's an interesting one. It's not necessarily like a hard counter, but if one of those champs gets ahead, the other's having a miserable day up there, so I like it. I do. And this leaves Citadel with their bot lane and support to be 4-5 there, which is kind of a nice combo for blue side here.
Yeah, definitely both sides in that position. So probably going to see a couple of bans directed towards bot lane in one direction or the other. Ezreal taken away by Conviction. They're the ones who get to have the final pick, so they'll likely save support for that one for Pika Pika. Want to take away some of the safer bot laners, see if they can earn themselves an advantage in that bottom lane.
All right, we got Ezreal and Varus taken away. From what I know, Karma is one of the most OP blind picks down there. You do have pairings like Xayah Rakan. Maybe there's a few others that have high stock. I believe that it's on the current patch, and so perhaps Zeri could be on either of these teams' minds right now. That champion is Z tier from what I know, so throwing that one out there.
Yeah, no choice but to be on live for ACL, at least for now. So definitely going to be that freshly buffed Zeri here, but instead lots of other bot laners kind of tanking the bans here. Lucian taken off the board, going to deny Citadel any of those Lucian Enchanter duos. The Corki taken off the board as something that Nightstar has gone for quite a fair bit. Notably, oh no, the Varus was banned away in round 1, so the Varus is gone as well. The Tristana, kind of the last big pick that both of these teams have dipped into a fair bit throughout this season that is still up and available. It has been nerfed from when it was kind of that premier picker ban, but still something that we might get to see a little bit of, especially as more and more of these bot laners do bite it. Pika Pika going to lose access to his Rakan as the last one. That's effectively going to take away the Xayah Rakan duo. Let's see what Conviction want to go for. This would be the chance to snap up that Tristana if you do want to prioritize it as Nightstar's most played this season.
Right, yeah, you want Nightstar on the biggest carry possible. Let's see, it should just be Ashe here, isn't it?
Yeah, locked on in, so going to be a little more supportiveness from the bottom lane. And I mean, you do have Jackson top, so you can at least guarantee that you're going to have a little bit of extra damage coming in from some of the other roles, but also going to have a range advantage in that bottom lane to try to be a little bit more abusive towards what Citadel draft.
And that gives them 4 stuns now, which is pretty interesting considering they don't have much physical damage, meaning if you don't buy Merc Treads, you might get 1 tap, but if you do, you might be regretting it. So I'm liking what they're drafting here.
Good point. Good point. So the Jhin going to be the response from Citadel. Going to not be a big instinct carry game than likely. He's going to be coming in also serving as a little bit more of a pick bot for the rest of the squad to come in and deal the rest of the damage. As Diamond now with his choice of bot laner. Similarly to Bradley, this guy's only got Rakan as the only champion he's played more than once this season. 4 games of Rakan for him, but they choose to ban it away on their side. Instead, they will go for the Rel, giving that AoE wombo that you're looking for alongside that Azir.
Oh yeah, those last 2 4th and 5th picks, they're really able to help enable and facilitate the first 3 champs there. This could really mean that Azir or even Gwen could really put in some work in this mid game with Jhin laying down fire from the back and Rel causing the engage. This is a pretty bread and butter comp from Citadel. It's gonna be hard to beat.
Yeah, Conviction now with the last pick support get their chance to try to respond to Jhin Rel. They go for the Bard for Pika Pika. He's been loving this more and more. Got to see him busted out on Cupid Esports a couple of times where he plays with many of these same teammates, particularly Nightstar and Maddie. And now going to be picking it up here as well, getting a little bit more roam power, trusting the Ashe to be able to hold it down in the 1 versus 2 in as many scenarios as possible, and roaming around with that Pantheon and that Talia, really trying to create some unexpected gank angles all over the map with how much cross-map mobility is available to this whole Conviction comp.
Yeah, well, speaking of Avengers, they've kind of got 4 here with the Pantheon, Talia, Ashe, Bard, kind of semi-globals. This could really be hard to, make pick plays against, like making the 1-3-1 comps pretty tough to operate. This is a good pick.
Absolutely. Yeah, the Bard's been real impressive to me over the course of the recent last couple of patches for players who kind of specialize in it. I think they've gotten to really flex some of what that champion can do. There's a lot more AD carries that feel a little bit more comfortable in the bottom lane. There's less lane swapping, so there's less of a scenarios where you can't really leave the AD carry in a 1 versus 2 situation, and there's a lot of opportunities to roam towards mid or make picks in the jungle to be able to really get good use out of that Bard. So love to see Pika Pika lock this one in, and does feel like coming into this one, Conviction, they're going to need to really grab a hold of whatever advantages they can find and not let go, given the player-by-player comparisons are almost always going to favor Citadel. I really like Lawrence getting his Jax counter pick, leaning into the style that has gotten Conviction Star this far, and then, as you said, 4 semi-globals. You better believe that they're going to try to show up top lane and shut down Philip on this scaling plan.
Yeah, absolutely. Here, if I had to pick one player from each side to pay your eyes attention to, it would be Bradley for Citadel's side here. I mean, from what I know from the guy, spending a month or 2 in Korea with him, he's an absolute Azir merchant. This is one of the most OP champs in the game. Definitely one of his favorites, so he has all the carry power he wants here. And then it's going to be him versus Nightstar and Pika Pika here, the mid versus the bot lane, if you ask me. I think if this bot lane can get a lead with the double range, get Pika Pika on the map, that could really help swing things in their favor here. So it should be a good one.
Yeah, definitely. As we wait out the rest of this delay here, Doxa versus Bradley, a matchup that it would have been like the marquee tier 3 matchup maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. Now, with both players having had some time in the NACL and now some time out of the NACL, going to be real interesting to see them go up against each other here. I still think, Bradley's been the most lane dominant mid in the ACL, bar none. Foles, you've subbed in for him. I don't know if you've had to play against him, but you've definitely had your time in solo queue and stuff. He's a tough guy to have to play up against, and he's definitely shown it throughout pretty much every ACL matchup you give him. This guy is something like a 1K gold lead on average at 15 minutes or something. He is a clear standout when it comes to stuff like All-Stars voting, and it's a tough matchup for any mid laner in the league to have to go up against.
Yeah, we definitely have to pay attention to this here. In the mid lane, because hypothetically one can think that Talia would be a counterpick into Azir, but it only really neutralizes it. And like you're saying, with Bradley constantly having those advantageous stat lines, I wouldn't be surprised if he were to go ahead and get that for himself here. From having played with his 4 teammates, like, this roster is really lethal, man. Like, if you can have these 4 names backing your own, like, you can pretty much have your way with the map. So they're gonna need to build some advantages somewhere on Conviction Star side. Hopefully get a dragon, maybe some grubs, because if all the objectives go Citadel's way, this game could just be a walk in the park. I'm just gonna say it as it is. So hopefully they put up a fight from Conviction side. I'm hoping to see it. I really am. But Citadel's for sure the favorite here.
Yeah, and Citadel's really felt like a team that's been scaling into the ACL, right? Early on, yes, they 2-0 GSL. Yes, they get to 4-0 in the Swiss stage, and they get the higher seed, facing off against Conviction in that higher seeded match, which they also win 2-0. But during the GSL stage, during the Swiss stage, they were going to game 3 quite a lot. They especially the GSL stage, where they went the 3-game series against both of their opponents. But as it's gone on, as they've gotten into playoffs, it's been 2-0s all day long. 2-0 in the seeding match against Conviction, 2-0 against Mint Gaming, 2-0 against Next Level Esports, 2-0 against Dale, though that was a forfeit. Still, I think, had it not been a forfeit, it would have been substitutes. It probably would have been the 2-0 anyway. We'll give it to them. Citadel doing quite a good job to pretty much avoid dropping any games at all ever since they've kind of made it up here, and does feel like they've really locked in as we've gotten towards the back half of this season, and it's no surprise they're prepping up for the promotion tournament next week.
Oh, right. That's what we were talking about earlier. Is this kind of a bit of a preview here for what's coming on potentially on Thursday with that NECL qualifier promotion tournament? We get to see that Citadel kind of sneak preview here. And given that 5 of these players are in that tournament, given compared to 3 on the other side, you'd think that that favors them here. This being their roster, they've stuck together for the past few months now. You'd think they have some good synergies. They kind of know how to mesh together as a team, and combine that with the fact they've all kind of been tier 1 level. Yeah, this roster could do damage in, let alone the ACL, but if not the NACL.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, this is the round 1 matchup of the Pro Bowl tournament. At least for 8 of these players, Cupid versus Citadel is the round 1 matchup of that bracket. So it's gonna be Maddie, Nightstar, Pika Pika facing off against this Citadel team. They will have Barrick and Lycamaz instead of Lawrence and Doxa. A little difference between the rosters there, but for 8 out of 10, that's not bad. This is going to be quite the preview of the Pro Bowl tournament coming on up here. Not an elimination match there, and not an elimination match here either. The loser will go on to play up against the winner of the lower bracket semifinal that is also being played right now. It'll either be Galaxy Gaming or it will be Pookie Bear. I hear some League of Legends sounds in the background, Fulls, so I think we are ready to get on to Summoner's Rift for game number 1. Citadel on the blue, Conviction Star on the red in a best of 5 for a spot in the ACL Grand Finals. Let's kick it off.
And I just love it. Like we were just saying with these guys going into the promotion tournament, this is what it's all about for us, you know, for us players who want to get somewhere in esports and get somewhere with these keyboard and mice. I mean, we got to prove it right here, right now, starting on this map of Summoner's Rift. This will be good.
Absolutely. Going to be a full 5-man bot from Conviction. Looking to see what they can find earlier on. Instinct is going to spot them out in this tri-brush if they do go for it. He will be able to back away in time. Pika Pika on the move, though. Slows him with the Cosmic Binding. Volley going to have to be cleansed away from, so...
That's the Ash level 1, man.
Instinct.
Really get full control over this bot side with that Ash level 1. Bard even placing a deep ward with 4 HP in that tri-bush. I mean, this is their side of the map, and they're making it known.
Good start, good start. Going to be keeping a little bit of extra track of where Kenvi is. Want to call it Philip also flashless in that top lane, opting for the TP Ignite. Even up against this draft, that feels a little bold, given that...
Yeah, that's certainly interesting to me. I know that the Ignite can be good against champs like Renekton, where you really get value from that healing reduction. But I suppose here, maybe just with the full firepower of the extra true damage would be his reason being, but it's definitely a risky choice.
Yeah, it's real bold. I mean, we were talking about, like, this whole composition feels like it's meant to full send to top lane and set up Lawrence, but and hey, if Philip is willing to throw down the gauntlet, let's see if he's going to be able to make good on it. It's already starting to see these lanes kick on off. It's going to be opposite side starts for both junglers. Kenvi going to be moving towards that bot side. Batty towards the top, although every time I see Batty on my screen, I want to call it out. This is a player I really associate with some of these early aggressive self-sacrificial jungle paths, especially on stuff like the Pantheon. He will go for level 3 ganks occasionally after 3 camps. I don't know that he's doing it this game. I think he would usually go Wolves to Gromp if you're going to do that, but something to keep in mind for the whole series. Maddie will make plays like that.
Yeah, and I mean, that was what was coming up on my mind there, is if this Pantheon's going to go bot side after the Wolves here with his double mid and bot prio, but no, instead he will just go back to top. And that will mean that Zinza will get the chance to influence this bot lane if he so desires, but instead he's looking at Doxa one time here.
Yeah, going to be a little early move on to Doxa, so it's actually Kenvi who goes for the 3 camp into gank approach, but Doxa takes a big chunk, but
yeah,
avoids
like
blowing any resources for it.
Radley's going to be happy about that one, but that does mean Zinza's position is revealed now. Should be able to deduce at Pantheon's top side as well, so we'll see if this helps enable Citadel's bot side.
Yeah, we'll keep our eyes out for that one. Going to be Philip clearing out waves as much as he possibly can.
Yeah, he can't even last hit the cannon so easily here. I mean, look, his jungler's bot side enemy team knows it. Waves pushing out. This could be tough for the Ignite TP Gwen.
If nothing else, Maddie's getting this top scuttler, no problem, but probably hoping for a little bit more from this position here. The failed gank mid should be an opportunity to punish. Philip does have the level advantage. Maddie's approaching, but he's just a little far away. I think he would have liked to be able to flash in, knowing that it's a flashless Philip, but timing didn't quite work out.
Yeah, they don't kill him there by any means, but I'm wondering if Philip's a bit screwed here. Look, you see Canvey going straight directly top, because I think this wave, if not having any jungle influence, might be completely cooked for the Gwen here. I think both junglers know it too.
Yeah, it's a good call out. So gonna be Maddie just camping it up here. Lawrence.
Oh, he flashes under the tower, by the way.
Maddie in deep comes up, picks up first blood. And that's that self-sacrificial play I talked about from Maddie. He blows a summoner spell under the turret to make the pathing work and to get Lawrence that first blood conviction on the board.
That was super base, just flashing straight under the tower like that, and the Ignite TP Gwen does get punished after all.
Ooh, Diamond now making a move over towards mid lane. They're going for the dive on Adoxa. He already had to blow the flash. Diamond takes a couple of turret shots, stays alive, and Kenvy will equalize. But Lawrence gets back to lane with a phage, flashes after. Man. He thinks he can keep the pressure on towards Philip, and he is certainly right about it. Dives under with the leap strike, and Lawrence with a solo kill.
They are going blow for blow. I was going to say Citadel strikes right back, killing Doxa, but then Lawrence has the last laugh with the 2-0 Jax now. Oh man, that snowball's gonna be rolling in his favor.
What has gotten into Lawrence this split, man? This is not how I generally think of this guy's playing. He's been such a stable, like a weak side king for so long, even when he qualified for NACL. But something about this ACL split, this Conviction Star team, he's just saying, give me the ball. I'm gonna carry this whole game. And he's been doing it for the entire Conviction Star playoffs run, and he will not slow down, even up against Philip.
Well, you say that, but I do think that recall cancel from Philip might actually be the slowdown that he needs to turn off this snowball really quick, because, man, oh man, did Lawrence ever smell blood in the water with that kill? I don't know about you, but when he flashed forward there, I thought there was no shot he was gonna like 100-0 Philip there. But he must know the limits, and more power to him.
There's a flashless Doxa. He is going down, baby. Although Pika Pika comes in with the magical journey. Does not get his mid laner out to safety, but nearly did. There was a moment where it looked possible. Maddie going to be brawling with Instinct in the river. Doesn't have Nightstar here yet. Nightstar moving up, but they know they're outnumbered. They'll end up backing away.
And those fruit going to the Jhin instead of the Pantheon means all the difference in the world. I mean, what a crazy start to the game. 2 kills topside, 2 kills mid lane. Both for Citadel and Conviction respectively. I will say that Jax is a pretty effective side laner into the Azir, so that's going to be something to pay attention to. That counters.
Yeah, no, looking to see where they will look to make a move next. The Jax not maintaining too large of a CS advantage despite what he's been able to get for himself gold-wise. We will see when he's going to be able to hit that item threshold. The Trinity Force, such a big buy that it can take a little bit of time before you're able to reach that item spike, even when you do get yourself an advantage, assuming that that will be what he ends up going for. Now a path on towards the bottom. Kenvy lurking, but going to take the recall. So bot lane will remain 2 versus 2 for the time being.
Yeah, it looks like we'll have a bit of time to breathe here for both teams. And we're wondering what the next play is. Perhaps waiting for that Pantheon level 6 to sort of get those Avengers going with Leah. That wouldn't surprise me.
A good push in bot lane from Nightstar and Pika Pika can open up an opportunity to take the first dragon here, especially now that they spot Kenvy topside. I mean, that should certainly be a bit of a go button if they want it. I see on my way pings that are colored red on top of that dragon, so somebody is certainly thinking about it. Maddie probably going to pick it up after this blue buff, but does take level 6, so
yep, there's that level 6.
The world is his oyster. He can go for the Grand Starfall anytime.
Sure is. Azir's ulti is coming back off cooldown here, so he may not be so vulnerable, but potentially just leading towards this bot river, taking this dragon could just be theirs.
Ooh, stun crash down on a Nightstar. They're going to open up with the ultimate, though. Good trade back. And Instinct going to be forced to cleanse and retreat. Nightstar doesn't even utilize the barrier. So all in all, going to be a resource advantage. Maddie actually Grand Starfalled in. He's in from behind. He's ready to take up the turret. Pika Pika going to take 2 shots. And now opening up with the curtain call. Instinct sees an opportunity to punish. They're trying to juggle the shots. And down goes Pika Pika for the feat of warfare. Shuffle back in onto Maddie. Goes invulnerable, but will drop at the end of the day regardless. And Citadel somehow turned that into a 2 for 0.
And just look at that map 30 seconds ago. How did we get from here to there? The bot lane from Citadel, especially Instinct, coming in so clutch. Not only surviving, but also that meaning they get the feat of warfare Followed up by Bradley on the Azir, no doubt with some scaling runes and items as well. I mean, oh man, the snowball has completely flipped in Citadel's favor.
I cannot believe that play works out that way. I mean, you got to point it out. Big mistake by Pika Pika there. Steps up too far before they clear the wave, takes 2 turret shots, and that means he can't absorb the curtain call, and Instinct is able to pick him up.
And one thing I was paying notice to is that Jhin, I believe curtain call costing the standard amount of 100 mana. You could tell he was just shy of the mana when they first had the initial dive. Then evading the Grand Starfall, I think right as he dinged 100 mana, he cast that curtain call and he was precise with those shots. Every single mana crystal counting there.
Oh boy. Lawrence TPing in, as is Doxa. They want a challenge for these grubs. They're going to blow both TPs in order to do so. Doxa going to have to pick up this wave. He's going to be here a little bit later than Bradley, but does have access to the Weaver's Wall. Does seem like Bradley's going to take a recall here instead. He will not have TP to get back, so Conviction Star, a good shot at getting 2 of 3 grubs. Kenvi did already pick up 1. Diamond gonna get forced out here, and with that show of power, Conviction Star should be able to claim this, but Citadel might challenge. They do still have 3 members, and they're calling over Bradley.
Right.
Night Star fires off an Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Here it comes into the river. Will connect onto Kenvi. Big shuffle back coming in from Doxa, and Kenvi is blown up. Shut down Gold to Lawrence with a sniper from Night Star.
Wow, because you look at that game state there, and Citadel does actually go for the lane swap, putting the Jhin top side, but Nightstar does not care, influencing that side of the map so much more than that lane swap possibly.
Well done by Nightstar. Knows that they're going to approach into the river and does not care who he hits. Just has to send one out. Knows that Doxa will be ready with the follow-up. Good collapse from Conviction. Gets them another one on the board. Brings the gold to even. And lets them secure a little bit extra on top of their 2-for-1 grub trade. Still in play for those feats of strength. Turret still up there, and they are now tied. Or actually, they're now ahead in objectives, as nobody's taken the dragon. Maddie started it, but canceled it for the bot lane play that Conviction would probably rather not mention anymore.
That's right, yeah. And in that previous play there, you notice that Bradley took the recall, getting a huge power spike on the Azir here with the boots and the Nashers. Making use of it nicely up here, but easily outmatched here by the Trinity Force Jax. These are by far the strongest champions on the Rift right now. Pay close attention to this.
Yeah, matching each other here. Diamond here to make it a little bit more of an unfair fight. It's Kenvi coming up as well. Lawrence probably has to be a little bit careful here. He wanders into the river, is caught by Pika Pika, has to throw down a ward to jump away, but is shuffled back by Bradley. And Kenvi's here as well. Lawrence flashes away, but will be hunted down by Kenvi. A trade of flashes, but big pickup for Citadel. They take the strongest member off the map, and they get some alone time for Bradley with that tower.
Yeah, they are trading away the dragon, but that seems worth it every day of the week for Citadel. That's Lawrence on the weak side there, not really identifying that he was their play. And looks like Doxa will evade that. But yeah, like I was saying, I mean, Citadel fully choosing, electing to give that dragon their play for this top side, enable the Azir versus the Jax, and I really like that play. I think this can really, really change that side lane matchup of the Azir versus the Jax. I mean, this is going to be a big story of the game, and if Jax doesn't strike back soon, it could start falling apart for him.
Yep, that's what it's all going to be about. Lawrence, still the focus of this team comp, still needs to be the side lane menace, has a significant lead over Philip on this Gwen, who is also flashless. Uh-oh, Doxa. He's got his flash back, but he knows that Kenvi's coming in to approach him. Tries to seismic shove him away, but Kenvi's able to space it, and Bradley just melts him down with that Nasher's Tooth.
Yeah, I don't know how they knew he was there. They must have had some vision or something, but it looks like Doxa's flash was quite literally like 5, 4, 3, 2 seconds away from coming up. So he actually died at the exact frame it came up. So that's a bit unfortunate timing for the Taliyah there. And that again means this Azir could just have the game in the palm of his hands.
You mentioned it back in first pick of the draft, how dangerous the Bradley Azir was, and he does get it, but they're coming in for another fight in mid lane. Maddie leading the charge on a Diamond, but Aftershock going to keep him standing here for a little bit longer. Curtain calls opened up. One shot connects with Tempered Fate from Pika Pika. Will put a stop to that nonsense immediately. Maddie takes a chunk, as does Diamond, but nobody will fall.
Got that right. I mean, it is a both pretty long cooldown, but that's one way to turn off the curtain call. So making good use of that Bard pick. Let's see if he can keep that up and maybe get another few objectives or something. They're going to have to pick up the pace.
Yeah, Nightstar showing off of those trades here between these two kind of pick-oriented marksmen. Feels like he is the stronger one in this matchup, but the Utah Wild Arrow's already completed, and I think he's right about that. His instinct still just sitting on the straight, and Dirk opted for the earlier Swifties. Nightstar gonna go for the recall here, though. Wants to be able to complete his boots as well. And we find ourselves with the 2K gold lead to Citadel. And Dragon's probably a little bit behind pace from where you would normally expect at this point. Second one's still only halfway back up.
Right, we do have the Rift Herald in 30 seconds here. We take stock of teleports, with both of them being up on convictions. So if there's anything to be had around this Rift Herald, Bradley's already in position for it, and we will see if conviction will come up with any sort of contest or cross play.
Now, fighting occurring on the other side. They do exchange blows a little bit. Bradley just picks up first turret on his own. 1v1 mano-a-mano up against Doxa. Now going to be opening up with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. That's a pretty big cooldown. Will be cleansed off of Instinct in trade for it, but as you said, that Rift Herald is up. Kenvy's already starting it. Conviction with no members over there.
Going for both plays, the defending bot and going for the Rift Herald play. This is very greedy. Let's see if it pans out.
Yeah, Philip just full sending it to try to clear out this wave. Does get it away. Tempered Fate doesn't connect for Pika. Pika might have been better used on the turret, and he will just tank it up all day long until he eventually gets executed. Lawrence is able to get out of there, and hell, they get the kill one way or the other at the end of the day, but now Nightstar isolated, flashes away. Bradley trying to hunt him down. Magnet Storm from Diamond connects, and Citadel are able to make a pick in the mid lane. They're going to move forward on this turret now with their freshly collected Rift Herald. Lawrence going to try to trade on the opposite side of the map with the turret. Recalls come out across from Conviction to try to get a response on through, but at the end of the day, it's 2 turrets gone and more kills available to the Citadel side.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, as much as I was about to clown Conviction for that failed dive, it did turn out quite all right with just being to execute on the Bard there, meaning it was just a 1 for 0 after all, or maybe a 0.5, but then the play from Citadel, just getting the mid-tier 1, that's much more meaningful. You saw them all immediately back off instead of considering for the tier 2, which means they're prioritizing their tempo on the map here, I presume for no other reason than this Infernal Dragon in 35 seconds.
Definitely. Maddie clearing out more camps. Going to be looking to move on up towards the top side. Not too much going to be available here, but there is a turret that's chunked a little bit lower, and they just want to funnel that gold into Lawrence in whatever way that they can. He is still the protagonist for them. And going to have a tough time up against Bradley. Here comes a Grand Starfall. Maddie wants to make a play on Bradley. He's got Pika Pika at his back. Nice shuffle away from Bradley. Puts a stop to the play before it begins, and Conviction dedicating more members, get nothing done.
Right, wonderful inputs from Bradley there, and here we go, Kenby with some inputs of his own.
Trying to get in here on towards Maddie, and he will be locked on down. Doesn't have the flash available, just nowhere left to go. Kenby takes the magical journey before he can even get to it. Lawrence is already chunked out low. Tempered Fate from Pika Pika to try to create some space, and Lawrence just barely get away from a snipe from Instinct. Deadly Flourish puts him in the dirt, and Citadel come up with a 2 for 0.
And that's the kind of Jin W that you feel through the monitor, man. I mean, your entire morale is a bit shot from something like that. I mean, we will see if Citadel is able to turn this into more. Looks like they got those pings there, blue pings on the dragon. That must, of course, be the first thing on their minds right now.
Yeah, moving on down. Dragon is up once again, but a 4K gold lead to Citadel. Looking like they are finding the early advantages in game number 1 once again. Was well fought for Conviction in some of the earlier stages, but Citadel are starting to pull away. They're going to need to really have one of these team fights come together immaculately to pull themselves back in. Lawrence with no pressure on either side right now, trying to get back out on a top lane, but this dragon is going to fall down, and somebody's going to be able to get up here to respond before he can really do much of anything. Conviction just a little bit behind right now.
Yeah, I mean, just look at those inventories. The tier 3 Sorcerer shoes, Rylai's, Nasher's, Azir, and 1.5 items, almost 2 on everybody else. Whereas just looking at hardly an item on each of Conviction's side, I mean, hope that this Jax can put up some kind of a fight here.
I mean, the early ignite from Philip wants to be able to challenge for this fight. He's got the curtain call for the support, trying to flash away. And the fourth shot of the curtain call will be dodged away from. Doxa comes back on in. Philip gonna get stunned up by the worked ground. But now the rest of the members coming on up on either side. Pika Pika gonna have to jump away with the magical journey. Maddie trying to get over to it. Is it going to expire? No, it's not. He manages to get over to the portal to rejoin with the rest of the team, but Bradley is in there. He sees his lane opponent. Doxa's got nowhere to go with the Rylai's in place. And Bradley will finish him off with one more shifting sands. It is a kill to Citadel. Nothing claimed back for conviction aside from the tower.
Yeah, he's making his enemy stand in place there. That Talia knew he was dead. That's the Rylai's Azir in action here. Teleporting in is Bradley. Looking at the tier 2 as well. Philip and Instinct on the mid and bot push. This is a full court press from Citadel.
Yeah, looking in a very, very strong position after forcing those backs and winning out on that play. Inner turret worth a boatload of gold. 5K in the lead now are Citadel, and not showing any signs of slowing down. They're going to get to cash these one out. Already getting extra legendary items on some of those crucial carries, and I fear what Bradley's going to be able to purchase now. He gets himself the Seeker's Arm Guard. Going to have access to yet another source of power, as well as those upgraded tier 3 boots. He is just so far ahead of Doxa right now.
Yeah, he must be, if not 3,000 gold ahead. Looking on the Jax here is Citadel. Looks like they will get him.
Oh, big damage out of Lawrence. He's able to leap strike away, takes the portal. He stays alive, but I mean, this is supposed to be their power point
up here.
Yeah, looking like this Otacon.
For the taking.
Yeah, should have no problem picking this one up.
I say that, and here we go. We have Jax is not too happy with teleport in.
Ooh, Lawrence moving on in. Here comes a chance. Crystal Arrow does connect over onto Kenvi. Maddie coming on in from the side. They're going to try to dive onto Bradley. He does use that stasis to be able to stay alive. Doxa willing to sacrifice his own life to make sure that Bradley loses his. And Lawrence will be able to pick up that shutdown. Diamond finishing off Doxa on the opposite side. And now Lawrence might be in too deep. Trying to fight it out in a 1 versus 3. Dives forward on the Instinct. Manages to connect that stun. Vanish Storm going to pull it back in. Maddie's over the wall. Trying to keep the fight going. But Lawrence has dropped. It's a trade back for Kenvi as Nightstar manages to fire the volleys over the wall, keeping Diamond and Instinct low, and this turret won't be here for too much longer, but Conviction decide they need to respond to Philip. They take the recalls as their inner turret is under pressure, and Citadel managed to turn it into a win anyway.
Yeah, see, I thought that was an even fight there, but bad news, guys. Looks like it was a 5v4 the whole time, and Philip was just having a field day down there.
Yeah, I mean, Philip showing up here, 0-3-0, didn't get to have an individually crazy performance, but let's look at this fight. Doxa just full sense it out of Bradley here to make sure that they can get the kill.
Right, it could have possibly been an Azir favorite play here if that passive was already up, but you can't really know if the Grand Starfall is coming in or not. And once Azir's dead here, that is Citadel's strongest champion down, so you see they put up quite a bit of a fight in this 4v3. Went out of the picture, but even still, if you're not winning fights with outnumbered situations like this, it's going to be hard to hold a candle in the 5v5s or the stages of the game.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that they won it health bars wise, but they don't finish Instinct and Diamond, and they're able to hide out underneath that Azir turret, like you said. So they manage to escape. They don't wipe the fight. They don't get to take any objectives afterwards, and Citadel are the ones who come on out ahead. Still, Conviction have managed to collapse the lead a little bit thanks to some of that shutdown gold. They are now only about 5k down. This inner turret about to make things rough once again as Bradley claims another one. And it will inflate the gold lead back up a little bit to about 5.5. Addy thinks he found Philip here. Doxa coming in on the side to get the cutoff, guarantees the stun, shovels it back in. Lawrence is here to bring the damage, and Doxa will finish him off. Diamond and Kenvi now trying to keep the fight going. Doxa trying to kite this one out as best as he can. Will be able to shuffle back away Diamond. Doxa's still staying alive. Lawrence is winning a fight up against Kenvi, but Bradley is here with the soldiers. He's looking to finish off this whole damn team. One already down. Make it 2. Both kills go to Instinct. Pika Pika is on a sliver, and Conviction are done.
Yeah, Bradley is not happy with that. As you saw and as you noticed, Philip on the Gwen there, getting all of those ulti charges off, restoring so much HP, surviving so long, giving Bradley and his teammates all the time of day they need. put out the damage to win that fight. And if I may say, I do think this Azir is close to that Zhonya's hourglass. And would you look at that? That is how I could tell you all day that Citadel could win this game. But if I may ask, if we're going to be generous to Conviction Star, what's their road in here? How do they really make a comeback? Do you have any ideas for?
You gotta kill Bradley a bunch of times. I don't know. It's not an easy position to be in.
It's really not.
Conviction here. You would know better than me, Falls, but you know, I think that's more of a conclusion than a real path to get there. You got to find ways to kill Bradley one way or the other, but there's him up against the strongest member of Conviction. Doesn't get much easier.
Right, this is his total comfort zone here. I would point out that the Instinct Jhin does have a 1k bounty, and he's a much more vulnerable champion than Azir, so keep your eyes on him. If a pick of some kind.
Fishing with Enchanted Crystal Arrow, not quite connecting it. Okay, Bradley goes into the stasis. He dodges Tempered Fate with it, but he is still going to be stuck on top of the Unraveled
Bradley.
Earth. Tries to shuffle his way out of here. Here comes Grand Starfall, shuffling back, not being able to get onto Maddie. Maddie cannot find the last bit of Comet Spear that he needs. Diamond taking a big chunk of the opposite side. Nightstar flashes forward. They finally get onto Bradley, but they've sacrificed their entire team fight for it. And this is just going to be a vulnerable backline getting torn apart by Curtain Call. It's a triple kill to Instinct. A fourth falls to Kenvi. Lawrence losing the 1v1 to fill up, and this is all Citadel.
Wow, I mean, they really were close to getting Bradley there, starting off the engage from Nightstar, following it up with the Grand Starfall from Maddie there, but oh man, the Azir just has all the counterplay in the world with the stasis. I thought that's funny too, stasising the stasis to start the whole play off, but then luckily getting the Pantheon W cancel with his ulti. We'll take another look. Watch the Azir ulti timing as Pantheon comes down. Stunned, you'd think he could die there, but he just perfectly guesses. Boom, cancels the Pantheon W. That's why he lives, and that's why the rest of this fight completely Citadel favor.
Yeah, Nightstar flashing over past Diamond and Kenvi to finish off Bradley. I mean, he does it, but it comes at great cost. Not really a path to winning the fight after that. Enchanted Crystal Arrow, not quite connecting. Philip able to immune that with the mist. The rest of Conviction standing here watching things transpire, but unable to proceed. Doxa still clearing waves in top, Lawrence and bot. Art's gonna recall to try to show up to this Baron fight, but things are already looking dicey.
Yeah, Diamond getting out on the map first. They're placing all his wards, trading his HP bar for it, just to go replenish both of those two things. So big tempo for Diamond's side here. They have the vision, and they're gonna start the Baron with it.
Yeah, Lawrence going to spot it out with the ward. Pika here as well. Diamond trying to mark. Maddie doesn't quite have the Grand Starfall available, so he's going to have to flash to get in there. It's too late. Pika throws on down the Tempered Fate. Does manage to stun up Kenvi, but the Baron has already fallen on down. Triple stun from Lawrence, but he's going to get shuffled back away by Bradley, who's now inside the pit, fighting with the rest of them. Lawrence able to jump on out, gets on top of Instinct. Maddie falls down, but it's a 1-for-1 trade for Diamond, and now it's a front-to-back fight with Lawrence in the front line, trying to create some space for Nightstar to continue to fire away, but he falls on down. It's a dash in from Bradley to finish off the kill, and Bradley stays alive, as does Instinct. The Citadel carries refuse to fall. Pika and Bradley in a 1-versus-1, but Kenvi looking to try to turn it back around. How long can Pika escape and stay alive? He's throwing down the vision. Can he get the stun? He does, but it doesn't have enough damage. Bradley finishes him off. Instinct's been pushing the whole way long, and Citadel win out the ace.
That's what I like to see here. First things first, the Bard ulti is a bit too late, but if you watch that Lawrence here, he almost solo carries this fight. Stuns all of them, and look how low all the Citadel members are getting. This Azir was so close to falling so many times.
I'm gonna be honest, man. Lawrence jumping on an Instinct there. He could have killed Bradley.
The kind of thing where you're just so close but so far. I mean, that's really got a sting for Lawrence and Conviction here. And that's what I love to see from Bradley, though. Doesn't matter how many hit points you got, as long as you got more than one, send it straight back in and see what you can do. And I like that.
Yeah, him and Instinct playing together all season long, and looking real impressive while they do it. Two of the strongest carries in ACL, two of the strongest carries outside of the NACL. and doing such good work in that last team fight. The players that you got to keep an eye on when you're playing against Citadel. There's Tempered Fate interrupting the curtain call. But that's only going to buy them a little bit of time. Lawrence back out of the base. He has got to be the big carry for the team here, but not finding a good engage angle. Not going to be presented to him without too much of a fight. Here comes the Weaver's Wall, cutting up the rest of the team. Not able to land the shove back on in. Philip is cut away from the rest of the team, but he will not be locked down. And Maddie, taking too much harass, will be finished off by Kenvi. They take the portal back through the Nexus, but Diamond lands a massive magnet storm onto the entire rest of the squad. It's a solo kill for Bradley on the opposite end. Lawrence trying to fight this one out. 1 versus 5, but he'll only find a single kill. It's an ace and the game to Citadel.
Wow, I mean, Conviction did put up a bit of a fight at the start of the game there, but little by little, Citadel just started building those advantages and took that snowball the full way through. Instinct finishing with a nuclear 12-0 there.
Yeah, huge game from both of the Citadel carries. Instinct and Bradley, I mean, these are the two players. One of them is going to be popping off on any given Citadel game, and it was both of them this time around, showing up huge in the team fights. Perfect accuracy on those curtain calls and deadly flourishes. And Bradley, absolutely massive on the Azir. You called it from pick 1 of the draftfuls. You can't give Bradley this Azir. And luckily, they don't have to worry about it for the rest of the series, but the reward is a 1-0 start to this best of 5.
Yeah, speaking of which, with the fearless dynamic in play, I think that, you know, Citadel might be pretty happy with Talia, Pantheon, Jax off the board. I mean, it's going to really shape things up interesting for you for this second draft.
Yeah, a whole lot left to play for. Impressive stuff from Lawrence, though, in this game number 1, I got to say. Really showed up against Philip. Really was able to punish that flashless Gwen alongside Maddie. And that's what Conviction Star need to do, right? This has been their strat, at least for the playoffs run, if not for the entire season. It's been to play through Lawrence. He's been so good on stuff like the Ambessa, like the Jace, like the Gnar, like the Rumble. And then this Jack's showing up well as well. He's still got access to all 4 of those champions that he's played more than anything else throughout this season. If he can keep having successful laning phases like that, that's going to be the breathing room that Conviction Star need to be able to win games in this series.
Yeah, that's right. They had the really successful early play on Philip there. If you remember Maddie's flash under the tower, getting the first blood, following up with a second solo kill from Lawrence, really putting Philip behind there. He did get a bit carried by his team, if I may say, with the 0-3-0 mid-game Gwen. But, I mean, one side's the weak side, one side's the strong side. He had to bite the bullet that time around. He did a good job of doing so. So we'll see what Conviction Star can come up with for the second game.
We certainly will. We're going to throw it to a quick break here, but before that, do want to give a quick shout out to Zen Market. If you've ever had a problem longing for a special Japanese item that you can't find locally, Zen Market has got a solution for you. They are your one-stop solution for buying products directly from Japan. They'll help you buy items from over 10,000 shops, as well as place bids on auctions on your behalf. They'll even consolidate all your items safely into one box and can ship internationally. They provide excellent customer service in 19 languages, which is why Zen Market is trusted by over 2 million users worldwide. Check out the panel below the stream or click the link in the chat to try them out now. If you sign up with promo code Aegis, you'll get 1,000 yen off your first international shipping fee. Thank you once again to Zen Market for sponsoring the ACL, and we will see everybody after a short break.
日本にはまだある？急がないと在庫があるのはそこだ。遅かった。そう、そのフィギュアを一つだけ譲ってくれんやろか。お前はだよ、同志じゃねえか。もちろん取引しようや。はあありがとう、全マーケット。
Welcome back, everybody, to tonight's broadcast for the ACL Upper Finals. It's Gordo here, joined once again by Fulls, and Citadel find themselves up 1-0 after a game that was close for the early stages, but Citadel pulled away and did not let go after they got a couple items into Bradley's ear. It's Fearless away now, Fulls. Let's see what Conviction can produce for us now that they're on the blue side for draft number 2.
Yeah, we're going to be switching sides here with Citadel taking the red side. We will have to wonder what kind of high priority first picks are left available for Conviction Star to be wanting to get their hands on. Gosh, there's not too many that come to mind. I know that, believe it or not, Trundle is one of the main priority picks in this meta, so I'm not sure if that will play its part in this kind of a draft. Other than that, I know we want Bradley on a mage.
I'd love to get to talk to a player about this Trundle a little bit, by the way, because I'm in some casting circles that keep asking questions about this Trundle. Is it not just, like, it's good? I can see it into, like, some of the, like, bruisery or junglers, like the Pantheon, the Xin Zhao, that kind of stuff. Are you guys of the opinion it's just generically good? It's just good in everything?
I mean, supposedly, I was just taking a look at the Genji Hanwha Life series. It was either that LCK series or the other one before, but they were just first picking Trundle. And I was like, is that really allowed? Like, I mean, you know, that could just be a random champ being mentioned by me here, but we will have to see. The main kind of array of OP jungler champs, which is usually the kind of first pick meta I'm familiar with, would be Pantheon off the table, Xin Zhao off the table. There is Nefiri, and then there is Trundle. I think that's kind of like the main 4, if I'm not mistaken.
Vi as well, right? But Vi
is also a very good one. I believe that Trundle does counter the Vi, though, and there's a few other champs in the meta that disincentivize the Vi pick, where she's gone down a bit in draft priority. So we'll see if that's the kind of thing that Conviction Star wants to go for here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, neither of these teams have actually been huge. I lie, actually. Kenvy's been a big Vi player. Kenvy's played more Vi than anything this season. Maddie has not really been a Vi player. Usually, Conviction has been the team that bans the Vi. Maddie has not partaken in it at all, actually, this season. And he doesn't get it banned against him very much either. He draws a lot of Sejuani bans, but he has been more one to, get to play his champs. He's played a lot of the Nunu. A lot of the Volibear, a lot of the Lilia, the kind of baddie champs as you get deeper into the pool. Right. So do expect that we'll get to see some of those, but there's the Vi. All right, Maddie makes a flyer of me. There is the Vi.
That's fascinating, too, because I did personally have the privilege of playing with the Kenvy Vi, and he is very proficient on the champion, makes the game feel really easy. He's just pressing Q flash or pressing ulti, and you're getting kills everywhere around the map. So perhaps could also be some kind of a takeaway stock here in picking the Vi. And let's see if that Trundle I mentioned comes up here. Or perhaps some kind of a Xayah angle, typically, or a Galio perhaps. Typically are wanting to draft these kind of characters with the theme of countering dive against the Vi here. So we'll see if that comes in at all. But a nice just AD jungle pairing.
The Jace Maokai. The Jace also going to be a pick away from Lawrence. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Lawrence. Oh, actually, the Lawrence Rumble's banned away, so you can't pair the Vi up with the Rumble, as folks are often keen to do.
Lawrence, could be Ambessa.
Yeah, could go for the Ambessa. That is a duo. Yeah, can't do the Talia. So the Ambessa is kind of that last one. That is something that folks will go for. Wouldn't be surprised to see it from Lawrence here. I mean, if you're not going to pick it here, when? Yeah, it's right. You get to pair it up with the Vi, and it's going to be something that Lawrence is very, very comfortable on, that he's played more than almost anything else this season. I think it's definitely a good call out here. Instead, he goes for the Yorick, so it's going to be a full set in the side lanes.
Yeah, strong champ, that one. It's pretty good into the Jace, so we'll see if that is a flex. I was about to mention it should have been a mid-top flex for the Jace, enabling Philip to draft a top laner on R3 here with the Gnar, countering the Yorick, suppose.
All right, yeah, so Gnar going to come out for Philip, and the top lane pool starting to get real pinched real fast. I mean, Lawrence is running out of champions that he's actually played throughout this season. He's only have 7 different champions in ACL, and 5 of them are now going to be fearless away after game number 2. So yeah, he's going to be left with the Ambessa of the Rumble, and then after that, it's stuff we haven't seen Lawrence play yet this season. So
I wonder if that's part of Citadel's plan here, picking the Jace Gnar. Isn't that 2 of his picks?
It is.
Clever from then, and then it seems like they'll just permaban the Rumble. So who was the 7th one?
Ambessa.
Okay, so I mean they still have something left with the Vi off the table though, for what that's worth. We'll see what Citadel I want to go with on R4 here. I mean, it's not worth mentioning because they already have their mid top selected, but the main problem with Gnar is that Silas just hard counters him, but that's not a problem they have to worry about anymore. So they're completely free in that aspect. They're going to want probably a bot laner here.
Yeah, very early Ari rather for Doxa here. I mean, a classic Doxa champion, no doubt, but does come through pretty early in the draft, and so this means both teams now leaving bot lane once again. Different bot laners snapped off this time than last. And actually that's Instinct going for the Ziggs in the bottom lane. So they'll be piloting the mage with that Jace coming into the mid lane.
Yeah, I can't tell if I saw that somewhere in like some kind of scrims from someone's match history, or maybe I saw it in solo queue. But I did see that Instinct was practicing the Zig. And so, if I'm going to be honest, the kind of comp they have before is something you've seen pretty regularly from the likes of the LCK. All four of these champions kind of coming together nicely here. It's a very nice draft from Citadel once again.
Yeah, Conviction going for the Rakan, even without the Xayah. They did ban it away earlier. That is going to take away the most played from Diamond for the rest of the series. What will they pair it up with? I've actually been a big fan of that Senna Rakan duo. Fatikan and Mixture have used that to very great success over on Dorado Gaming. But that team and that duo not going to be available here. So the Senna has already been banned away, the Kaisa as well. No Xayah.
Right.
You're going to have to go a bit further down the list for what you're going to be able to go for. I mean, the Tristana still up and available as something that a lot of folks have prioritized. Instead, it's going to be Kog'Maw for Nightstar. Oh boy.
Wow.
Enchantress Kog'Maw. Kind of frontlineless Kog'Maw, not even really a tank, let alone an enchanter. Interesting.
That does make you wonder about just how much these bans have been coming in and having an effect here. I can't imagine Kog'Maw would be the first pick on the menu, so it's a very interesting choice. We'll see how that works out for him. I would imagine an on-hit Kog'Maw. Surely not an AP mage to counter the Ziggs artillery with artillery of your own, but knowing Nightstar it will be an on-hit. That's a very interesting choice. We'll see how that goes for them.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I guess it's a little bit of a Vi duo because you can guarantee hits of living artillery, but yeah, I'm not. I don't know. I mean, the Vi Ari is a little bit of a duo. Vi Ari is a little bit of a duo as well. You get to guarantee your charge.
It is. That's true.
You know, being
this actually could be tough for Bradley's Jace here. You know, typically as Jace, I suppose you want to be into more mages that have a hard time playing against you. But to be honest, I think Ari has one of the easier times. Her Q just outranging, her W giving her move speed, and her E just constantly being there to answer you from using to this guys. So combining that with the Vi mid jungle pressure, you'd think that Conviction has some kind of mid priority to play through here, especially given that Bradley is one of the superstar players on the other team. We will see if this mid jungle pairing from Conviction Star can give them the advantage they need to come out on top here.
Yeah, definitely. And once again, you got to pay a little bit of attention up to the top lane here. Lawrence can be a big side lane threat. Philip does get the counter pick with his Gnar here, but I don't know that that's necessarily like a hard counter. It's kind of just more a ranged pick that can clear out the ghouls without too much trouble and still find some ways to harass the Yorick. I still expect that he's going to stay topped off in lane without too much difficulty and just keep that push going pretty consistently once he gets access to the Maiden. So going to be still a tough ask for Philip to be able to hold that top lane for as long as possible. And going to be difficult for anybody to match the Yorick one-on-one coming into some later stage games after everybody's got an item.
Yeah, that's a very good point. You know, actually from playing plenty of scrims, seeing both sides of this matchup, primarily having the Yorick on my team, it seems about as 50-50 of a matchup as you can get. Like, with Gnar being the ranged champ, you'd think it favors him, but it's not so clear-cut. Like, pretty much no one really progresses much in this lane. If anything, Yorick eventually just out-sustains the Gnar. So Jace definitely has a hard time matching Yorick, one of the reasons why Conviction drafted it. So we'll see if maybe they make use of their tools like the Ziggs ulti and perhaps just some of their range advantage to just constantly be clearing these waves before Yorick can get much of a side lane threat, because that is Conviction's win condition here whenever you're drafting Yorick. So we will see how much side laning he can do here and how much prevention of that Citadel can. The Ziggs ulti, I think, could come in handy this game.
Yeah, and I mean, the flex of the Maokai to support as well, it feels like it just makes life so difficult for the likes of Nightstar on this Kog'Maw, right? So now you have Twisting Advance for the lockdown on top of Sejuani coming in with Glacial Prison to keep you locked down. It's going to be a tough life for the Kog'Maw here. Surely a cleanse game for Nightstar, but I don't know if that necessarily gets him out of the doghouse, as there's definitely going to be a number of Citadel members on top of his face on any given team fight, and gonna not really have the disengagey, frontliney kind of team comp that you would traditionally see with a Kog'Maw to keep him safe, right? Everybody else on Conviction, the Vi, the Ahri, the Rakan, they're all going to go in. They're all going to dive onto the likes of the Ziggs in that same moment. So a little bit of an interesting composition there for Conviction. You got to wonder how it's going to work out for them in the team fight situations.
Right. The more I look at this comp from Citadel here, I'm starting to understand their identity and why I've seen this so many times before. It's just that dynamic duo of poke from the Jace accelerated shock blast and the Ziggs, constantly having vision control and additional poke from the Maokai saplings, with a huge snap engage tank to frontline as well with the Sedge. So this 4-man core of Citadel's bot side and jungle, alongside Phil just holding down the Yorick, so it should just be a bit of a 4v4 game here. And as much as I look at it, I do favor Citadel's 4v4 here, and I think that the Gnar can suppress the Yorick for long enough.
Definitely. I can certainly feel that as well. It's once again feeling like got to be Lawrence being able to make the difference in that one-on-one, right? If you're able to make it so that 4-on-4 isn't really sustainable because Lawrence is winning too hard on the side lane, that could definitely break this open a little bit and make things difficult for the likes of Citadel. Or you need that snap engage that Conviction have access to really blow somebody up who is out of position on the Citadel side, because it's tough to just leave Nightstar out there as a sitting duck. So you really want to make sure that whatever you're doing to pull the trigger, you're not leaving the Void Puppy all on his own. You've got to be able to finish the kills quickly and then regroup to still be able to defend Nightstar, be able to create kind of successful team fight conditions for yourself on the Conviction Star side. It's definitely a tightrope to walk, and it's definitely more difficult to execute on than Citadel's, if nothing else.
Yeah, and I mean, if you take a look at this kind of as a screenshot and you were to ask around, say, what looks out of place, I think 90 out of 100 people would say, what's this Kog'Maw doing here? So it was a very strange, unprecedented pick in the draft, if you ask me. I mean, as a matter, like, what can he realistically do, right? Like, his range is just mediocre. He does not amplify by the likes of a Lulu. Maybe you can build a Blade of the Ruin King.
I really am.
Yeah, I mean, same here. Like, maybe you can have some lifesteal, and that can maybe do something for you. But you're just outranged. Like, you're just kind of just draft mogged. Like, I hate to say it, but like, I mean, I want to see the man in action. But as far as I can tell, I think his champion cannot do much. But the game sounds like it started, so he's gonna see if he proves me wrong here. Let's see.
Yeah, eyes on Nightstar on the Kog'Maw to see if Conviction Star can prove us wrong. Citadel looking to take themselves to an early match point for their path to the ACL Grand Finals. Conviction Star looking to tie us up at 1-1. Let's get into the map for game number 2. Sides swapped up, and no 5-man bot this time. Looks like both teams looking for spreads.
Yeah, let's do it. You take a notice, both supports have chosen to equip heal. Ziggs with the teleport versus Kog'Maw's ghost.
Nightstar has no cleanse.
Be interesting. Yeah, that's right. He must need a Mikhails or something to play this game, because any single CC landing from Sejuani or Maokai followed up by the damage or the Gnar, you will just die.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We're either gonna really have some big discoveries here over the course of this game about what the Kog'Maw does, or we're gonna leave game number 2 a little bit bewildered. We'll see how this lane plays on out.
I mean, the Doran's Ring Kog'Maw, like this is super based. Locking in Kog'Maw, Flash Ghost, Lethal Tempo, Doran's Ring. This guy knows something that we don't, and so let's see what he knows.
Yeah, I'm fine with the Doran's Ring. I think it's the better starter they got to even on the AD Kog'Maw for sure. Just gives you access to more mana. He's got AP
I
scaling.
think he knows what he's doing.
Everything.
I think I gotta give him the benefit of the doubt, don't I?
We got to. There's no choice. Nightstar's made it this far. He knows what's going on.
100%.
We'll see what he's going to be able to pull on off. I definitely do think, you can't shrug off the early game trading power of the Kog'Maw, but I mean, you definitely do feel getting Twisted Advanced there. That's going to cost about half his HP. And not going to really have a response from the level 1 Pika Pika here. They really need to hit that level 2. Be able to have extended trading power, but Voidu's doing a fair bit of damage. Nightstar getting flashed onto by Diamond. He's got to step up. He's got to kill one more minion, but he's not going to get there in time. Finally does hit the level 2. There's the Grand Entrance, connects the knockup onto Diamond, but he's taking too much damage. Tries to flash away from Instinct, will drop down for first blood, but I do think the explosion, dodged away from by Diamond with the twisting advance. Pika Pika will be able to pick it back up and make it a 1-for-1, but now Instinct, just barely getting flashed away from by Pika Pika. But that is all 4 Summoner's Blood for the Conviction bot lane in a 1-for-1, where the supports get the kills.
Well, as scuffed as that might have looked, you do got to give credit where it's due. Both of them managed to get frame perfect flashes on Ziggs Q there. On separate Ziggs Qs. Yeah, like just to barely squeak out a 1-for-1 there. So thankfully they did the bare minimum of that, but I think just the level 1 start with the twisting advance and such is kind of why it was so scuffed to begin with. But they're still in the fight. Ziggs does have the teleport advantage, which he looks like he's going to be saving.
That interrupt on the Q looking rough there as Maddie will be executed by Bradley. Caught inside his own
by Bradley. Respect. They're not done, maybe.
No, they're coming in for the 3-man dive top. Lawrence is already low. Philip going to transform soon here. These cats are kind of beating on him, though. Making life a little tougher for Lawrence. Still, it's going to be an easy wave to clear and to crash in. And Diamond is just starting off. He doesn't care. He's going to start taking the turret immediately. He will be traded on to. And actually, it's going to be 2. This is way too aggressive from Citadel. They still get the feat of warfare, but it's a double kill to Lawrence that I don't think they needed to give.
Wait a sec. I think Conviction just got the feat of warfare.
Did they? I thought it said Citadel. I thought it said Red Team got it. I could be wrong. Doxa getting traded on too. Oh man, Doxa's gonna get taken down here. He's trying to kite it out up against Kenvi. He'll get finished off. Maddie's trying to finish Bradley, but Bradley's got a 2-level lead and he's blasted away. Maddie's finished off 1-on-1. Citadel on the board once again. They win the play 2-for-0.
Yeah, both junglers fighting both mid laners there, and both Citadel members being the stronger one. Oh man, that's a big snowball start for Bradley here, and I don't know where else on the map we can have hope as Conviction. I guess it's just as Lawrence with his double kill.
All right, production is confirming. Citadel got the feat of warfare. Philip got the kill first before he died.
Clutch.
Huge play. I mean, feat of warfare aside. The double kill on the Yorick, I mean, that's the little bit of hope that Conviction Star need at this stage, because oh boy, that mid lane play went poorly, the bot lane play went poorly. You need something, and what they get is top lane. Early Ninja Tabby for Lawrence to make sure he's going to be able to continue to crash these waves in, not going to get forced out of lane too easily by Philip on the Gnar. Going to just be rocking this little lead where they're able to get it.
Frankly, that mid play is fresh in our minds where Kenvi kills Doxa and Bradley kills Maddie for the second time. But I really think that failed dive from Citadel could come back to bite them. I say that, but Philip does have the level advantage here.
Oh, Lawrence hits level 6, does immediately throw down the Maiden, and then feels comfortable to keep that fight going. Bradley hits level 6 too as well, and is happy to oblige with a big trade on a Doxa before Spirit Rush is available. But the Maiden being here, that's the big mama cat. It's going to be able to keep things pushed in towards Philip for the foreseeable future, as long as he's got some nice safety in the form of his jungler nearby and some vision inside of the river. Lawrence is going to be able to keep this harassment going on towards Philip, but here is Kenvi in the mid lane. Still not level 6 for Doxa, and he will be finished off easily.
Yeah, really good timing there, identifying the level 5 Ahri, killing him before he levels up. Meaning Bradley's level 7 before Doxa is level 6. Yet again, a masterclass in the mid lane.
Oof, yeah, I mean, Bradley showing once again why he has been the most dominant mid laner in the ACL, especially in the laning phase, and Doxa just struggling to keep up here in the earlier phases. Ooh, they do get a big pull away onto Diamond. Big punish opportunity here for the Rakan, and I do think Nightstar is going to walk away with this with a kill. First kill between the two bot laners does go to Nightstar's Kog'Maw for only the cost of his Ghost.
I mean, I don't know if I have this power, but can we get a replay of that? I mean, that was crazy from the Rakan there, intentionally baiting in the twisted advance just to lead him to his demise. It's plays like that that can get them back in this game, and if not this whole series. Really based play from Pika Pika there.
Yeah, really nicely done there to be able to bait out that ability from Diamond and to be able to clean on up an extra kill. Nightstar gonna get onto his items a little bit earlier thanks to that, working on the Goonsus as his first purchase likely. And yeah, here's that replay you asked for, Fulls.
The Rakan, he's walking up in the bush, might know it's warded. Oh no way, it was the Ziggs W from Instinct knocking him even further. And Pika Pika identifying where he gets displaced and displacing himself voluntarily under his tower. Giving Maokai 2 tower shots through the aftershock. That's a huge clutch play from Pika Pika's Rakan there.
Yeah, great timing as well. I thought he used the battle dance to pull further and then just landed the knockup, but no, he uses the grand entrance, the knockup, to create the space, and then also gets basically a frame perfect knockup with the timing for when the Maokai emerges. So really nicely done there. Be able to keep a Diamond stuck underneath that turret and create the kill for Nightstar. Will then give them a little bit of power. Flex around this bottom side. They do pick up the first dragon.
Right. But it makes you wonder if that play itself is kind of what has enabled them to get this dragon here, because, you know, Maokai not being able to place his wards, not being able to have control over the area. I mean, it's a bit of a ripple effect from this that really could have Conviction start putting up more of a fight than in game 1.
That's what you hope for. If you are a Conviction fan, you want to see a little bit more fight in them. Chance to be able to challenge the heavy favorites here in Citadel. You got to see a little bit of it in game number 1. You want to see a little more of it here in game number 2. Already finding that lead for Lawrence. That's 2 games in a row. They've been able to get some kind of advantage onto him. See if they're going to be able to keep it going. As he returns to lane via the TP, content with an item advantage over this Gnar. See what he's going to be able to do with that, as CS leads are quite strong in the jungle and mid, where Maddie and Doxa have kind of been having circles run around them for most of this early game. Doxa still finds himself at quite the deficit, and Bradley's going to make him feel it.
Yeah, I have a feeling that Bradley is going to be asserting that advantage all game unless they can get to shutdown and really throttle this acceleration from the Jace here. That it's going to be real tough for Doxa to play this game. If he can stack up this Dark Seal, maybe, you know, proc his ultimate hunter, whatever he has, like, he's gonna need some kind of a kill here, ideally on this Jace, or else it just gets worse. Look at this.
Oh no, that was Charm. Ooh, wow. Doxa using Charm on a minion there, or maybe aiming for Bradley, but hitting a minion regardless. That ability goes down, and Bradley immediately to the skies, looking to make the dive happen. Doxa is forced to Spirit Rush away and recall, losing more CS, losing more turret plates to Bradley, who is just flexing on this mid lane right now. Pika Pika making his way up top, spots the other support. And I think Bradley's about to get 4th turret plate. Yep.
And I got bad news for you if you're a Conviction fan. That turret is in Ziggs W range, and we noticed that we saw the Ziggs teleport top. So he could just reset open mid here, satchel that turret, and I mean, that's going to be feats of strength for Citadel. I don't think that Conviction has any recourse to that.
Yeah, unlikely they'll be able to do much of anything. Bradley does TP back mid, But it looks like Instinct is en route here anyway, so maybe he's just going to drive by it. Just going to show up, satchel charge, and go top.
Typical mid laner, eat all the insects and the farm before going to his lane assignment. I like that.
He's earned it this game. He's already Spear of Shojin'd up. He's very, very strong. Lawrence going to try his best to respond to the bottom side. He'll get a couple of plates for himself, get a little bit of gold, but you know, they're in a position right now where it is unsafe for Instinct to walk up alone. There's 3 members up at the top side, and Instinct wisely realizing, hey, I don't know where everybody is. If Vi or Khan or anybody is there, I might just die and give another kill over to the Kog'Maw. So instead, they're going to look top lane. 3 members of Citadel pushing up here. Bradley just stocking up more turret plates. This guy's got a boatload of gold this game, and you know,
Chovying too.
Clear the wave.
Guys, Jeff Bezos on the Jace here, and you notice we're just playing 4v4 all game. You can ignore the Gnar Yorick for the most part, and it looks like in this these 4 characters, it looks like Citadels are much stronger right now, and slowly whittling away Conviction. We're gonna have to have something happen.
Especially, I mean, they've recalled out their Kog'Maw now. The Ahri is just so far behind, probably not really in a position to be able to one-shot anybody.
Look at that poke. Did you see that?
Combo. Yeah, big damage.
It's just gonna get worse, I'm afraid. There's that 6W.
Finally found it.
Yeah, I can just rotate top too. Oh no, there's... What can Conviction do? They can't play. Yeah. Okay, Ziggs backs off. He doesn't satchel the turret just yet. That's fine.
Maybe, just maybe, they could stall it until after plates fall, and then there's a little bit less free gold to be gained. Because the bot turret's getting into range a little bit here too.
Yeah, it sure is. And I mean, I forgot that the plates are still on because I'm looking at Bradley CS and I'm thinking that he's got 10 per minute, but no, he's got 11. So
yeah, I mean, they might not even need the satchel for this. They might just take this.
I mean, the world is all theirs.
3 members strong. Grubs are a hell of a drug there, and Citadel get themselves a second turret. That's nearly 15 plates. As here's going to be a full engage over the other side. They're going to be able to get good damage on the Pika early. Maddie in too deep. He's going to get finished off here. Diamond desperately trying to finish him off. Doxa will be able to do it. He jumps back onto Instinct, but he will be finished off and just swept away by Bradley's Jace. The damage way too much. And Citadel will win out the fight 3 for 1.
Yeah, I mean, Conviction got really impatient there. Just, they've had enough of just seeing their map fall to shreds and bits and pieces, and they finally put up some kind of a fight, but it's just not the fight they're looking for. Gnar does end up teleporting in, so Ziggs is forced to answer bot lane, but that's what's OP about having the extra teleport, you know? You can just send in your Gnar and have no counterplay for the enemy team.
Jump on to Philip.
I say that.
By the grand entrance. Philip trying to fight it out. Does flash it. Does go in. Massive Gnar to the wall. Finishes off Nightstar. And just maybe Pika will be able to trade it back, but Lawrence getting collapsed on the opposite side. He's going to get stunned up by Kenvi here. Kenvi chasing him down to make sure that permafrost connects. Diamond gets him back in there with another Bramble smash, and it will be the kill onto Lawrence.
Yeah, 7k gold lead here as the plates just now fell off like half a minute ago, and they're not done. Like the tier 2 bottom with the Ziggs satchel available. I mean, Philip just 1v2 and getting Kog'Maw Nightstar through his flash and everything and surviving. Oh man, these are some really killer plays from Citadel. I'm loving what I'm seeing here for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So much work done here in the earlier stages by Citadel, and I mean, they're further ahead than they ever were in game number 1, and it's looking like they're gonna be no holds barred, full steam ahead to close out this game number 2. They find themselves almost 10k ahead, frankly, this early on, and Bradley is absolutely massive. Spear Shochin, nearly Muramana.
They just keep up the pace.
There goes Nightstar.
He one-taps him as the Sej and the Ziggs ulti. Oh no. They can't even play, Gordo.
It's a tough world. It's a tough world as a cleanseless Kog'Maw who's just getting collapsed on by Sejuani. Will be finished off with ease. And this Rift Herald is definitely going over to Citadel.
I mean, you would hope that the Kog'Maw identity of being a tank killer would come in sooner rather than later, but it looks like the tank just kills him. Oh man, I mean, the only silver lining here being that Hextech Dragon they got earlier, so They do have a bit of a clock to work with here, but afraid they don't even scale enough at this point.
Yeah, it's a tough position to be in, no doubt. Going to really need a lot to go to their favor here. There's fast shutdowns available across the board. You got that going for you at least, but definitely going to need a good fight for the Kog'Maw and a ton of resets onto Bradley's, or Doxa's Ahri rather, to be able to get much of anything going here. And at the very least, Citadel are playing aggressive. They're playing fast and loose. Maybe would give up little angles here and there, and that's just kind of what you're going to have to cross your fingers and pray for if you are Citadel. Another Mega Inferno Bomb going to clear out some of the wave. The Maiden will tank this for long enough for them to be able to get the objective bounty. Will be in trade for a dragon, but that's still pretty good. Gives them a little bit of bonus gold to try to get a little bit more breathing room. But Doxa is, of course, being pressured under inhibitor turret. It's 17 minutes, so that's tough.
Doesn't help, no. But, yep, Philip just answering their top lane play after it's said and done here. Sigs on the mid tower.
Dive forward onto Diamond. Diamond going to take a fair bit of harassment. They're going to come in for the collapse. They want to be able to finish off Diamond. They will be able to do it. Getting a reset onto Doxa. Doxa advancing forward, looking to finish off Kenvi. And it is Maddie on the other side. Gets a big punch back onto Bradley. That's a low HP Jace. That's where all the gold is sitting, and they finish it off. Shut down gold to Doxa. As here comes Pika Pika. Able to get that snare on towards Instinct. Kenvi waiting over the wall, going to be able to connect with another Arctic Assault. Doxa misses the charm. Getting chased down on the opposite side, but Nightstar finds an angle to fire away. Bio Arcane Barrage, shut down gold into the Kog'Maw, and Conviction get the fight that they needed. 3 shutdowns over on towards your carries. That is the lifeline they've been waiting for.
Wow, they started off with the Vi ulti onto Diamond there. It looks like it's a bit of a random full send, but it turns out that the extended play completely favors them there, killing Bradley and Kenvi, getting them completely off of the map. Finally a moment to breathe. 5 Dark Seal stacks on this Ahri now. A bunch of gold, a bunch of items picked up here. I mean, they just reduced the gold lead by about 3k there. I mean, they're obviously way and super far behind, way and far away behind, but that's going to cut the lead down a bit. That's what they needed.
Yeah, I mean, this is the kind of position where you can sort of stall out the game. Not like this, Lawrence. This is up pretty far. We'll be able to stop Bradley for a moment with the wall, but I don't think he's getting out of this one. This aside, if you stay closer to your base, if you turtle up, let the waves come into you, you're at least 15, 18-ish minutes away from the Dragon Soul. Yep. You can take some time and just farm up on your Kog'Maw for a while.
I do agree. Given the current state of the game these days, with Baron not being till 25 minutes, and with the Spirit Blossom Otacon honestly being kind of underpowered, you can just turtle here. You can just kind of give away every objective you need to. Soft contest everything that they go for. And as long as you keep, I would say, your inhibitor line with these inhib turrets, there's a chance there. There is a fighting chance with the Kog'Maw comp here, with the 5 Dark Seal stack Ahri. So you got to give him a chance here.
Yeah, just give him time, funnel. I mean, you could kind of funnel 2 waves worth of minions into your Kog'Maw at this stage if you really want to. The unfortunate thing is you kind of want gold onto every lane here. You want gold on the Ahri and gold on the Yorick too, so I don't know if that's really an option to funnel all the gold into the Kog'Maw, but worth noting. You could at least try to give some jungle camps over to him. Maddie doesn't really need the gold.
And one of my favorite go-tos from playing in the ACL is let the enemy team throw by starting Otacon. So, because as you know, it reduces your resistances by a lot, and it will chunk you a decent bit. So we'll see if that's what we have here, is a throw to Otacon angle.
Yeah, that has been the thing about Otacon all year long, is that it's basically as strong as the Baron, but with a much less significant buff. And yeah, I mean, people will start it like it's not the. People start it like it's a dragon, but it's like it fights you like it's a Baron. But looks like Citadel has no problem winning the fight anyway. Immediately blowing up 2 with Instinct. Here comes Doxa. He's got the Spirit Rush if he can find the resets, but he shows up, misses the charm. Bradley's still standing. And that is far too much of a threat. Nightstar here as well.
Fill up.
Desperately looking for a fight angle. Shock Blast connects. Over the wall comes Envy. Doxa misses the charm again. Nightstar going to be able to trade it back. Gets one on a Bradley, but he will end up falling out down. And now Philip is here for the cutoff. Doxa with nowhere left to go will be taken down. And there's a brief moment of hope for Conviction, but Citadel shut it down.
He hops straight into the Herald instead of dying here. He's going to crash it too. He does not care in the world. He knows how strong his champ is. He survives, and he lives to tell the tale. Medjai's on the Ziggs as well, TPing in. Citadel's having a fun time here, and you can tell. I don't know.
Yeah, this is how you want your League of Legends games to go.
Yeah. I mean,
if I pop on for a solo queue game and I'm up 19-9 at 21 minutes, I'm a happy camper. I'm waiting for the FF, that extra time. You know, basically. This is what you're hoping for every time, but going to be a long climb back for Conviction if there were to be one. Conviction, see if they even try to challenge on this dragon. Like we mentioned earlier, you can give this up. Citadel can take this dragon. It's not going to give them too much immediate power. You got a while until the soul's really going to be a threat, but like we said while having that conversation last time, Lawrence can't be up this far.
Yeah, this is the exact place that you cannot be. And he kind of flipped it, hoping there's nobody there. And there was a Sejuani there. Rakan looking for something
play on the diamond. This is support Maokai up against 4, so they should be able to make the trade happen.
Okay.
Nightstar spaces out the Mega Inferno Bomb. Here comes Bradley on the flank. Nightstar flashes back away. They manage to interrupt the Gnar, get multiple knockups, but it doesn't matter. Bradley shows up with the damage. It's an instant triple kill to the chase. Make it a quadra before he falls down. An ace to Citadel.
Yeah, Bradley coming in hot with the quadra kill out of nowhere. It could have been a bit more stylish if Philip got his flash off there instead of just flashing into a mini Gnar. But Bradley saves the day, no problem. They want to end it here and now. The soonest respawns being Yorick and Rakan.
A 23-minute game end would be nuts. Probably our fastest game of ACL this split, but it won't be that fast.
Yeah, they will go ahead and back off here, giving them one last chance to breathe as Conviction. I mean, what I was going to say before is the only way you possibly win with this comp is if these Ahri ultis are getting reset and you're just going through their whole team in an ace, but I just don't see it anymore. I mean, even this Jace has 700 extra hit points from his Shojin and his runes. The Ziggs is across the map and the other targets are not so doable, so gonna be real tough here as Conviction.
And by the way, I realized I have some stats over on my other monitor. Complete lie from me. Not even close to the fastest game this split. Desperado Esports Damocles took a 18-56 win against Tempest JLH.
Well, I'm glad that I was not Tempest JLH, and let's see if Conviction can do much better.
Oh boy, there's another dunk from Bradley. He comes in with his 11th kill of the game. And there's Nature's Grasp.
Now.
Yeah, coming out across. Doxa going to be stuck up, hit by another Shock Blast, forced to retreat. And Bradley groups up with the rest of the team. Citadel, just no holds barred, full sending it. Nothing to stop them now as they look to clean up the full triple inhib. 3:25 minutes, and they should have no problem being able to close out this game. Moving on forward, one Nexus turret already down. There goes the second one. Instinct getting use out of the satchel charge. Maddie getting a big chunk onto him. More onto him as well as he's forced to back out away. Bradley going to be able to force back that jungler. Going to get the mid in there as well, forcing them back into the fountain. Diamond going to be stepping on up, looking to be able to snare somebody to be able to get the fight started. It's a dive in from Pika, trying to make one last desperate stand. Doxa going to be the first one to fall there. It's going to be a trade for Diamond. Instinct still finding shots to fire away for the backline, and Bradley still at over half HP as he fights his way through, finally drop it down after picking up a triple kill, and at the end of the day it's an ace to Citadel with 2 left standing. A 25-minute win to Citadel as they take themselves to match point.
And another nuclear scoreline from Citadel. Bradley with 14 in the upper bracket finals. I mean, they are just absolutely getting insane amount of kills, and we gotta have to see us stepping it up here from Conviction Star.
Absolutely. Huge win here for the likes of Citadel. looking stronger and stronger as the series goes on. No early advantage for Conviction Star this time. And, you know, we saw it. Plays broke out in all 3 lanes early on, and 2 out of 3 were favoring Citadel. They find themselves an easier time than in game number 1, and once again, it is back to the drawing board for Conviction.
Yeah, it was a bit reminiscent of game 1 there. It looks like, for whatever reason, whatever is going on top side, whether it's under Conviction's tower or Citadel's tower, it just seems to be favoring Lawrence and not Philip. That's the second time now we've seen that, where either Philip gets tower dove or Lawrence survives the tower dive. And so if maybe they can have another advantageous topside start without Bradley Kenvy Instinct Diamond just completely hands gapping their opposition, then we could have a bit of a fight here for game 3.
Going to be what we need to see. Once again, eyes on Lawrence. He's been the best performing member of Conviction, I think, over the course of this series. Got handed a little bit of a double kill this game and still wasn't able to do much with it. But if we can see more like the Jackson game number 1, that would be an opportunity. I also do want to see, I mean, we got Doxa on his Ari, and his Azir has been taken away from him by Bradley, but he's had some really solid games as well on some of the control mages, stuff like the Orianna, stuff like the Victor. Would love to see a little bit of prime Doxa coming back in, and I want Maddie on his champions, man. The stuff that only Maddie plays. I want the Nunus. I want the Volibears. I want the Lilias. See Conviction get back to their identity and see if they can find ways to challenge Citadel from that position.
Yeah, I want to see a better draft here going into the Fearless Game 3. As you mentioned about Maddie being on his picks, and particularly for me, I want to see a better pick for Nightstar here. I was not too fond of the Kog'Maw angle here, seeing what they were up against. And like I did say at the start of the show tonight, I really think Nightstar is the hope to cling on to if you are Conviction Star. I mean, it's in the name. So we will see if we can get Nightstar onto a better champion. I got a couple ideas, maybe Caitlyn, maybe Sivir. Give me someone like that, someone that I know Nightstar is comfortable on. Play for him, see what happens. Lawrence does his thing as well. We could have a series on our hands.
We'll have to see. With that said, throw a quick break here. We're going to be back for draft number 3 before too long. We'll see if Conviction Star can put up a fight and take us to a game number 4, or if Citadel will clean sweep their way to an ACL Grand Final. We'll see everybody in a bit. Welcome back, everybody, to tonight's stream of the ACL Upper Finals, where we've got a 2-0 lead to Citadel coming into game number 3, Fulls, and we need to see something out of Conviction Star to try to pull themselves back in it. Plenty of their champions still left, not Fearless away, but still 10 already gone.
Yeah, I mean, we can't say it's too much of a surprise seeing Citadel up 2-0 here. Now, we will have to see if Conviction can do anything from the brink on match point here, series point. Let's see if they have something in the tank here, something that they've been holding back. Maybe a bit of another angle in the draft. Gonna have to see something out of them.
Absolutely. Stay tuned for the third draft, and we'll see. I mean, we talked about it in the last draft. Lawrence's champion pool now going to be significantly pinched. Has lost access to most of the champs that he's played throughout this season. The Ambessa and the Rumble, the last 2 remaining, and the Rumble has been banned away throughout the full series so far, so might have to see something a little different out of him. Philip in a similar position. Philip is now down to the Rumble, the Rise, and the Yone as far as champions that he's piloted, and I do believe that Yone game was mid during some of the role swap
I would expect
shenanigans.
so.
I think the Rise game might have been mid too, actually, so... yes, it was. So Philip is also down to just the Rumble. So we're going to get to see some new champions at both top laners.
Now, I can't speak for Lawrence, but I can speak for Philip when I say I personally have seen him, like he has shown me himself playing many characters. So I think if it's not in his ACL stats, he's got plenty tricks up his sleeve. He must have at least 10 champions in his champ pool still ready to go. But I don't know if I can say the same for Lawrence. Do you think Lawrence is that confident with that champ pool, or might that actually be an it?
No, I'm sure Lawrence has been playing for forever. I mean, I know this guy's got a Renekton. I know this guy's got tanks, right? Both these guys are they'll bust out the Ornn, they'll bust out the Scion if the team composition calls for it. You got to believe that they both have other stuff in the tank. I'm sure both have a Cassante if the time and the place appears for it. Yeah, so there's plenty of stuff available for both players, but it's not the stuff that they've played on this specific team for most of this specific season, so it does leave some questions about what the team comp around it might look like. Wait for these teams to kick on off their draft number 3. Do you want to point out, I mean, both bot laners have kind of veered away. I mean, there's been so many bot lane bans, because for both drafts, they've gone into the second phase of picks and bans before picking any of them. So nearly all the 80 carries for both players are still left on the board. We still haven't seen Varus, we haven't seen Corki, we haven't seen Lucian, we haven't seen Misfortune, Callista, Ezreal, Zaya, any of these things yet. So still a lot of those left on the table, but a little bit more off the wall with our marksman picks thus far. So curious what we get to see from them as the Corki immediately eats a ban from the Citadel side.
Yeah, it sounds like Citadel knows the exact playbook that you're talking about. I mean, like we were saying, Nightstar is the person that we want to see on a more play-making potential champion. You do raise a few good points, about how, for one thing, I would think that Citadel scales deeper into the Fearless, right? With the best of 5 having perhaps more experienced players and bigger champion pools. And that's kind of why we're going to need to see Conviction put together a few nice drafts here if they still can, because it's true you might be able to play a certain character in solo queue or on another team, but if you've never practiced it with your same teammates that you're playing with on stage right now before, if it's a new pick that you haven't gotten much team play synergy experience with, that could be an issue. And I don't know about you, Gordo, but I'm pretty hyped to see that second ban from Citadel there.
All right, yeah, okay, wait, so there is a whiffed ban from Citadel, so that's going to be place held by Timo. Interesting to leave your bans up there. And we will, though, and look to see what we end up with from the Citadel side. Banning on away. I mean, do they ban nothing again? They have the freedom to do so. No, they do take away the Varus, so maybe a little miscommunication there to end up letting one slip on through. Note that the Teemo is not actually banned. There is still a chance to pick the Teemo if you want to, as the Renekton is the final ban for the Conviction side, and Rumble will be first picked by Citadel.
I mean, Philip on the Rumble, we were just talking about how we want to see a good top lane matchup for Conviction. It's pretty hard to draft into the Philip Rumble as Lawrence here. I don't even know which angle to go for, Frank.
We'll find out. We go on over to the Conviction Star side. They do lock in the Rise. That's likely for Doxa. Could be flexed up top for
Right.
Lawrence. If
Do you
he
know
so
if Lawrence can
desires.
play that?
Yeah, that's the question. Certainly not so that I've seen from him. That would be one that, I've seen Lawrence play a lot of champions over the years. I don't know about the Rise top.
Okay.
It's been a long time since the Rise top was relevant. Maybe back then, but when he was Speedo. All right. Well, I mean, he's either played the Rise or the Yone, so he's piloted some kind of carry this time.
I mean, that's the reason I was asking, is because I do know that Rise is one of the more favorable counter picks into the Rumble. And so you would think that perhaps that would be what they're going for here, is drafting the Rise specifically in Rumble. And with the Doxa Yone, as far as I'm concerned, that does answer the question for me. I mean, I don't know how good Lawrence's Yone is, but I know that Doxa's Yone is pretty signature. It's been banned by Citadel, I believe, in the other 2 games of this series. So we'll see what he can do for us here.
Yeah, I agree. The Rise is somewhat of an open question, but the Yone feels like a Doxa pick much more than a Lawrence pick. So I agree. I think it's likely that the Rise is going to be top lane and the Yone going to be mid. Still somewhat a bit of flexibility available depending on what gets drafted here. Is the Akali going to come on through for Bradley? And that's got to put some fear in your heart if you are Conviction Star. And the Senna going to come on through for Instinct.
I mean, that does just slam the gauntlet down there with the Akali pick. It being considered a counter into the Yone, but only if you have the hands to do so. Bradley thinks he does against Doxa's signature champ. I mean, this will be a mid lane hype matchup if we've ever seen.
Oh, yeah. Going to be a fun one-on-one between melee assassin mid laners that we have been hoping for. That's what's got to be promised when you get Bradley versus Doxa. Will be the matchup to watch for this game number 3, regardless of what the rest of the draft looks like. There is the Nunu for Maddie. It's been promised all along, and you would hate to see him go out without getting to snap it up in the series. Will be piloting the Nunu in this game number 3, and then we'll immediately look to ban junglers to defend it. So we do get to see a little bit of a breakup between what's being picked on either side for the first time. Bot laners not yet selected by Conviction, but are selected by Citadel. Jungle selected by Conviction, but not by Citadel.
Yeah, and this goes to show that maybe they know sort of the best sort of strats that you were talking about. We want to see Maddie on one of his Maddie champs, and that would be one of them. I mean, I went up against it. We're like, really? Did he just draft Nunu? No, he did. He drafted Nunu all right. So don't sleep on the Nunu pick, guys. I mean, this is a Maddie special. This really is. This could be what they need.
Yeah, I do remember he played a pretty poor Nunu game on Cupid in OQs, and after that game, it was not the final game of the series, comes into the next game of the series, and I did type in all chat, I get one of those. I get to run it down on my picks once per series. So this is going to be his chance to either prove it and earn more Maddie champ games, or the series just ends right here. One or the other, as the Jinx will be snapped up for Nightstar, going to get himself potential hyper carry the bottom lane.
Yeah, from my perspective, so far, so good. This is, like I said, from my perspective, the best Conviction draft we have seen so far. I think, at least for the particular nameplates that they are rocking here, Maddie and Nightstar being the 2 players we wanted on their particular picks. It's just going to be a question of the Lawrence Rise right now. Can he hold it down on the Rise? Unless it's, of course, the Yone.
Oh, is that Rumble in the jungle? Or Rumble support?
Rumble support is what that is, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it could be either or. Lawrence going to get this Ambessa now for the top lane. Rumble could go either. He could be in the jungle. He could be at support. I do think support alongside Senna makes a lot of sense. But both options going to be available here. We will find out as Citadel looks to round out their draft. Will it be a support? Will it be a jungler? I mean, the Kenvi. Will we see the Kenvi Rumble jungle, or will Kenvi go for something different here?
I think like something like a Skarner, probably. I would imagine it's Diamond's Rumble. I think I've heard of him playing that before. I know Philip does love the Ambessa. Curious to pick that into the Rise, though. I'm see what imagine Kenvy's last pick is here.
Yeah, I mean, things have gotten spicy now. I mean, Citadel's
Oh,
throwing
yeah.
a wrench into everything with what they've picked here. I do agree. The Skarner sounds good. Skarner sounds real good.
That
Trundle.
might be even better, you know.
That is gonna interrupt greatest snowball ever. That
It is.
sucks if you're Nunu. That hurts. And Tom Kench rounding things out for Pika Pika.
I really do like the Trundle 5th pick there for Citadel. But with that being said, take away nameplates. I don't know. I might be favoring Conviction's draft here. I really like the Jinx hyper carry. You know, you have survivability, you know, from the engages that they have with the Tom Kench. You have Maddie on his comfort picked. I know that's a nameplate, but kind of an exception there. And then Rise being an S tier pick, Yone being an S tier pick. I think Conviction could win this one, Gordo.
Yeah, there is going to be probably the best opportunity we've seen for Conviction so far here. And now going to be a 2-0 lead for Citadel. This is the draft, so it is going to be Trundle in the jungle. You know, there's a little bit of faint hope in my mind that it could be Rumble Jungle and Trundle support. Trundle support used to be a thing, not so much these days. And now going to be apparently a big power pick of the jungle. This is going to be really difficult for Maddie, you got to believe. It is about as tough a matchup as you can imagine. You could just not use your W at all. He's just going to throw a big pillar in your face and going to ruin your ability. And he can also interrupt your ult with it. That sucks. That sucks.
Yeah, no, I think this Trundle pick is probably the wild card that swings the draft in Citadel's favor if it is going to go their way. But they do have some pretty decent chance for kiting him out. That is, of course, one of Trundle's biggest weaknesses, is that he can just be kited out. And I mean, Jinx can do it. Tom Kench is like a kiting bot, built for that archetype, you know. And then you have Rise W, you have just a Yone constantly Eing and Q3ing everywhere. It might be able to kite out this Kenby Trundle. It's just gonna come down to this Nightstar Jinx, I think, which, if anything, that's what we want it to come down to. So,
Yep. That is certainly going to have a tough time surviving. You got to feel up against the Ambissa Kali, but this is what you draft the Tom Kench for. Be able to keep Nightstar safe for as long as possible. And, you know, Maddie might have his life in the early game made difficult by Kenvi, but if he goes for a tankier build rather than the more AP-centric one, he could still be, you know, an additional frontliner alongside the Tom Kench just to try to keep Lawrence and Nightstar safe coming into the later game. Be a CC bot for Bradley and Philip if they try to jump in and try to set up for this Jinx and Rise to just be able to machine gun down anybody on the Citadel comp who comes up towards them. It's not really the tankiest Citadel team in the world. Will have some resistance drain from the side of the Trundle, but beyond that, I mean, kind of a squishy composition when you're staring down Rise and Jinx.
yeah, you know, and I do actually wonder if, as the Nunu here, you almost want to go full Kesha and just go full damage, because if you build any sort of resistances or tankiness, Trundle is just gonna ult you every time. So God, that Trundle pick is just thwarting all of their plans here. But yeah, it's just gonna be a very volatile game, though. Very volatile game. I would say that every single one of these top, mid, and bot matchups has a lot of kill pressure, particularly the Akali versus Yone. But even got a Rumble support to just be flame spittering people, and you've got a top lane matchup where both of them are squishier than you might think. So I would not be surprised if we have a 20, 30, 40 kill game on our hands here.
Could be a bloodbath for certain. I think that's what Conviction Star is hoping for. They can accelerate their champions in gold, get resets out of this Jinx, and put them into a position where one outplay and one team fight can win you the game and set you up for success. These kind of macro-focused early into mid games have been favoring Citadel all night long. It has been kind of strangling for Conviction Star when Citadel just get to take control over the map and they just do not give any opportunities elsewhere. A little bit of chaos might be what Conviction Star need be able to put themselves back into competition and to drag this onto a game at number 4, give themselves more opportunities to create draft advantages and to find ways to stay alive in this series.
Right, and as much as the Trundle might counter the Nunu, I think we just want to be rolling snowballs all freaking game, if not even level 1 to begin with. I mean, as well, right? If we're talking about just stirring up like a bit of combat, you know, causing a bit of mayhem, like Nunu W is a prime spell for that. So we'll see if they have any cheeky ideas for that.
Yeah, I mean, just hey, as long as you stay away from the Trundle, you can snowball all day long.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, look at the rest of their comp. They're gonna have a hard time answering the greatest snowball ever.
Yep, so you just gotta, we'll see. You know, some early vision from Conviction Star could go a long way. They can get some tracking done onto Kenvi, make sure that he's not getting the best of them, that he's not going to be on top of Maddie. Make sure that you keep Maddie concealed, maybe going to be able to find themselves some opportunities to be able to get plays going in the early game. I heard some spawn-ins in the background, so I think we are ready to get into game number 3. Welcome to Summoner's Rift. Citadel Gaming back on the blue, 1 game away from a trip to the ACL Grand Finals. Conviction Star looking to keep themselves alive in the upper bracket.
And look at your minimap here. You see all those red on the waypings to the tri-bush, and this Nunu looks like he's delaying himself on purpose. We got the greatest snowball ever coming in, Gordo. Here we go.
Here he comes. Spit it on through. Will not be able to find a target, but those are those kind of things where if you're not familiar with the Nunu, you can get caught by it. Instinct is aware, gets himself out of danger pretty quickly.
Now, I think that does slow down his clear speed by like 4 or 5 seconds instead of starting the queue, but I mean, this is kind of what I want to see from them, just constantly applying pressure, fishing, seeing where and when they might be able to get some kills, so I don't mind it one bit.
Not at all. Both parties going to kind of look for invades on opposite sides. A little bit of early vision for Conviction to try to keep an eye on the Trundle. Envy and Philip are waiting for Maddie here. Oh no. All right, Maddie does start biggest snowball ever. Moves down towards the bottom side. They kind of all know exactly where he is. Yeah. Here they come. Maddie might have to flash out of this one. Realizes that things have gone badly. Has to escape. And already Kenvi gets the better of him at the start of the jungle clear.
Yeah, you know, it's almost as if they did their homework, that they knew they would go for some cheesy Nunu W, and that since he started the W, he has to start his Raptor camps. And that's kind of why you notice all Citadel members
Bradley's
were
looking
camping.
For him. Oh, Bradley's
no.
looking for him. Bradley's found him. Maddie needs to tick level 2. If he ticks level 2, he'll get consume, and he'll be able to stay alive, but he just can't. He's going to have to execute.
Bradley just ruining Maddie's day there. No way.
Oh no, Maddie. Oh no. Not a signature Nunu, brother.
Oh man, they read him like a book level 1, and then they continue the play into forcing him to execute. I mean,
wow. I mean, what a bold call this is by Maddie, though. You gotta kind of give him credit. Calling that his Krugs are still gonna be up. So he goes top and does the Krugs. I think actually kind of like, oh, actually, wait, big knock up here, found by Pika Pika. Gonna be able to find the stun if he had access to Tongue Lash. He blocked away by Diamond, but still, nice little trade for the Conviction bot lane.
Do they realize Trundle's position?
Oh, no, here. Top lane's trading pretty close as well. Lawrence was just forced to flash by Philip. Last Embrace will connect. Here comes Maddie towards the bottom side. As I called out earlier, I wonder if Maddie was kind of next leveling even more counter jungling from Kenvi. He goes towards his Krugs in case Kenvi is trying to meet him on his bottom side. So now Maddie has Consume. So he will no longer be low enough to be harassed. There's a gank coming in from Kenvi. Pika Pika going to stall him out as much as he can, but Nightstar, nowhere left to go, will be hunted down and finished off as Doxa's at risk of getting solo killed. Will be able to get his way out of there just barely in time. Already some of these lanes starting to get tough for Conviction.
Yeah, we've gotten 2 camps taken by Nunu here. He did secure his Krugs, but the Trundle stealing his bot side means that every single quadrant is this Trundle's at this point. Gonna be a huge jungle lead here, even first blooding the Jinx. And top and mid winning out. This is all 5 champions happier on Citadel's side right now.
Definitely. Bradley tumbling his way out. He continues to look for these aggressive trades. Here comes Maddie. Not going to be able to find Bradley in the biggest snowball ever. Does manage to connect some snowballs, but Dox has already snapped back. So, you know, you can see a lot of worlds where that play works onto an Akali, but Bradley plays it very, very well and manages to escape.
Yeah, I mean, the Nunu does have a pretty decent amount of counterplay into the Akali with the W, with the E. But Bradley just evading that gank entirely. Stepping out of the shroud to
Philip
dodge
just
the
took a
snowball.
second turret shot.
Oh.
Lawrence, without flash, can't finish him, so Philip will be out there.
What happened there? We're almost
Okay.
fighting death.
Yeah, he's getting away for now. Instinct going to be forced to flash away from that abyssal dive. Nicely done from the side of Pika Pika. Is now Diamond pretty far up here. Good dodge on that zap to be able to make the trade closer than it would have otherwise been, but a nice laning phase for the Jinx Tahm Kench regardless.
Envy
finds Maddie, and oh man, Maddie's got nowhere to go. Easy solo kill for Kenvi, and that's why the Trundle's so highly prized.
And I was about to say, with Philip taking that tower shot and them getting Senna's flash, that Conviction was having some decent answers.
Little trade to the bottom side. Pika Pika, big discipline here with the gray health. Doesn't pop the shield, gets to regen a little bit more. The health bar is still so low. The heal's still not available. It might be too dangerous to stick around. Conviction may not have a world where they're able to come out ahead here. Doxa struggling in lane up against a Bradley's Akali as well. Couple waves where the CS of a lead given over to him, but Lawrence takes level 6 first, wants to keep this trade going up against Philip. Throws down the Realm Warp, covers the minions over to the other side, and Lawrence with a solo kill into Philip. Once again, what has gotten into this guy this split?
I could not have seen that coming, but Tahm Kench.
Oh, gonna get burned on down. The rumble damage is a little bit too much. Kenvi's on top of Lawrence. He's gonna be able to finish off that kill. They're looking to dive underneath the turret. They do manage to finish off Diamond. Maddie will get traded onto, but it does give some gold onto the Nightstar. They certainly wish the Jinx had gotten that kill.
Yeah, there's no rest here. Just combat all over the place as we kind of anticipated. But wow, I mean, Lawrence solo killing Philip is still a glaring surprise to me. I would never have expected that in the Rise into Ambessa matchup there.
Yeah, a really a critical kill there from Lawrence, but he does get traded back onto. Kenvi now 2-0. Diamond has 3 kills as well. So really wishing they had been able to get a little bit of additional gold and a Nightstar down there in that bottom lane, but not the end of the world here. That Soul Unbound, I think, means Dox is going to die to Bradley here. He's forced to flash as soon as he comes back. And Pika Pika just going to be forced to dive back over the wall.
Might be a bit shaky there. I mean, I've definitely had my fair share of accidental Soul Unbounds, but it's costly. Tahm Kench flashes now.
Good collapse there on to Pika Pika. Now Nightstar's kind of just a sitting duck here. Big wave crashing in. Kenvi on his way. Abyssal dive on through. There's no Devour available for this Tahm Kench, but Diamond is stuck underneath the turret. That's going to be some gold. Back over to Nightstar. A 1-for-1 with the kill going over to the Jinx. I think Conviction will take that.
Yeah, we seem to keep seeing more of the same. Just Nightstar just in no man's land, but at not much fault of his own. His own tower is no man's land there, but at least he gets the trade kill.
Comes biggest snowball ever. Stun comes on through. Knockup comes on through. Somehow the snowball doesn't connect. Maddie really wishing he had that one back, but still gets a nice combo off with the absolute zero and shut down a gold to Maddie. He gets his revenge one way or the other. And well done to Pika Pika to stop the interrupt from being available with that stun and a knockup combo.
Yeah, perfect timing there, and this Nunu gets exactly what he needed. He gets that shutdown kill there, giving him the XP he needs.
Lawrence.
To Dark Seal.
Yeah, trying to clear out the wave, trying to do damage to Philip. Can't do both at once, ends up doing neither. But here comes biggest snowball ever. Crashing on through, not going to find its way onto Philip. Maddie flashes forward, chomps down on a Diamond, and makes it a 1-for-1.
Yeah, this Nunu is starting to be a lot happier than how he started the game. You know, first with the level 1 for 3 minutes, but, you know, he's putting his pressure regardless.
Welcome everybody from Aegis 2. Somehow they're 3-0, finishing up already while we're just getting into the start of game number 3. Citadel Gaming, heavy favorites for the tournament, find themselves up 2-0. This is the bloodiest game we've had so far, Fulls.
It sure is. And, you know, the past couple of games were just completely Citadel favored, believe it or not. I think we both agree this is Conviction's closest chance to putting up a fight here so far.
Yeah, for sure. I think they look good for a bit in game number 1, but their draft here, we do have some promise for. This is a lot of damage on a Pika, though. He is going to have the great health. Maddie throws the snowball into the wall, but he is going to be able to come on in here with the snowballs to be able to hold down Diamond. Now Instinct is caught. Pika is still alive. Nightstar firing away as Maddie holds him still, connects the Super Mega Death Rocket. It's a double kill to Nightstar as Doxa trying to create some space for himself. Will be executed by Bradley before he can snap back to the Soul Unbound, and that will leave a mid turret to be hammered by the power of Bradley and Kenvi.
Yeah, I mean, F in the chat for Doxa, but I mean, this Nunu coming in with the perfect gank bot side. Sorry about that. The Tomcans. Pika, goodbye.
Instinct catches him with the Dawning Shadow. Hitbox on that thing is wonky, and Pika can't get out of it in time. Is finished off by Instinct, who gets another kill back. Philip getting in there with the public execution. Lawrence going to try to realm warp his way out. Will do so.
Right, they trade ultis there in the top side. You always got to keep track of those global abilities such as the Senna ulti, but sometimes they do catch you off guard. Putting back the kill in the bot lane, but we do have the Yuntal picked up, as well as the magic boots for Nightstar's Jinx here, so he might have what he needs to play the game.
Conviction with a little space to breathe, with a lead on Nightstar, and with their best chance yet against the 4.5, we'll say. Again, Bradley, only one game in the LCS. Feels hard to say. Feels unfair to say that he's a former Tier 1 player, but we'll say 4.5 former Tier 1 players here from the side of Citadel. Conviction showing up the best they have yet off the back of their signature picks. It's Maddie on the Nunu, who is showing up to give space and gold to Nightstar's Jinx. And this is the best they've looked all night.
Yeah, keep in mind, this is a bit of a sneak preview for the NACL qualifier match between Citadel and Cupid Esports for 8 of these guys. So we want to see Conviction prove that they belong, with the exceptions of Doxa and Lawrence. But, man, I mean, Nightstar can't 1v9 this. I don't know who can.
Yeah, definitely an Instinct stepping forward. Going to be chasing out Pika. Bradley coming in on the side. Here comes biggest snowball ever. Connects this time. Maddie trying to chase him down with the snowballs. Will be able to land the root. They keep him knocked up. He tries to tumble away. Able to dodge out on Fate Sealed. Meanwhile, Lawrence is getting collapsed on by 2. He'll be finished off by Philip, and Bradley was able to escape. No, he wasn't. Doxa finds him. Picks up the shutdown, and it's kills in both solo lanes.
Wow, and I mean, from nothing to something for this Nunu. I mean, with the completely setback at level 1 to now he's got 7 Dark Seal stacks, he's really showing us why this is his signature champ.
Coming in on the top inner turret, and they will be able to finish this one off. That's a big injection of gold into the likes of Kenvi and Philip, and I mean, Kenvi especially is just massive on this Trundle. Here comes biggest snowball ever again. Philip a little bit mobile, still gets caught by it. Bradley, the Drift King, will nearly be able to finish him off, but Kenvi's going to be able to create some space for him. It's a TP up from Bradley. Bradley finds himself in a 1 versus 3 for it, but still finding good damage to be able to put down on a Doxa. Kenvi steps forward, does not quite connect the trophy. Knockups come on of plenty, but nobody quite falling low enough to be able to be taken down. Lawrence is still firing away. The machine gun age, but it's a double kill back over to Philip, tumbling on through. Will be able to finally be taken down. It's 2 versus 2, or a 2-4-2 trade, rather, as Lawrence and Pika still looking to trade back onto Bradley. He's got enough space, though. All in all, Bradley looking for some more. Doesn't connect the Shuriken flip, though.
Double buff's on the rise here, meaning he can stay for the extended play. Rumble flanking.
Diamond coming in on the backside, looking for a good angle
does have
fight.
summoners
This
here.
is support Rumble. Does land a nice equalizer, though. The base damage on this is not to be trifled with. It's a big devour coming on through from Pika Pika, trying to keep this Rise standing for a little bit longer. He comes out with the shield, but Bradley executes him. Biggest snowball ever comes on through. Double knockup from the Abyssal Dive. Pika Pika will fall, but he sets up for Maddie in trade for his life. Absolute Zero will take down Diamond. Maddie with the Empire play will be found by Kenvi.
No phase rush.
Face for himself. Good dodge from Kenvi. Avoids the route, but will not be able to chase down Maddie regardless. Maddie is out of there.
Wow, I had a feeling this one would be a bloodbath, but I didn't think it would be this much. I'm loving this. I mean, this is no break. We got Yone
This is nearly 2 kills a minute.
Yeah, this is freaking awesome. I mean, finally, Nightstar breaking this tower at least. He hasn't been too involved in that top side shenanigans.
Ooh. That's slow off Piercing Darkness, looking real scary for Nightstar. He does get his way out of there, though. Doesn't have to blow any of the summoner spells. And Lawrence comes back into lane. He gets a fair bit of gold off that trade at the top side. He just finished Rod of Aegis 2 minutes ago. I was going to say it feels late. It's actually not that late. It's just we're very early in the game. It feels like we're later in the game because of how many kills there have been.
And I mean, finishing Roa around that 11-12 minute mark is nice. Flash from Senna, though, on the Yone ultimate.
Will they be able to collapse? I mean, here comes whole of both teams. Kenvi coming on through. Doxa looking for a big Fate sealed angle. Will be able to finish off Instinct. Maddie is burning down on the opposite side, though. Citadel sent one more player to the fight, and that one more player might make all of the difference as Kenvi is able to cut down Doxa. Philip gonna make it an even less fair fight. Snags Pika Pika out of the Abyssal Dive with the public execution. And it will be a 3-for-1 fight. Citadel cleaning house.
Yeah, I mean, they just kind of collapsed on them like hounds there, just fully taking names. We do have Rise and Nightstar pushing here. This could be a decent trade if he procs get excited.
I mean, isolated up against the Akali, though. Perfect execution is up. Bradley has no problem.
On everything.
Finishing that one off, and now the inner turret going to fall. It's a bigger and bigger gold lead for Citadel. I mean, Lawrence will finish off this top tower eventually, but this is a lot of money into the likes of Philip and Kenvi.
We got Lawrence caught out here now. Can't even use the Realm Warp.
Oh, caught on top of the equalizer too. Will he get the turret? I think he did.
Yeah, he will get the gold for that. But I mean, even you could tell the desperation there a bit from Conviction side. Nightstar attempting to flash the Akali R2 there. Probably didn't even realize Akali had ultimate available. I mean, you have to go for the towers there, for the mid and top side, but just at what cost? I mean, seems almost every time you have a play as Conviction that Citadel has a better one.
Huh? Would it be another fight breaking on out in towards the mid lane? There will be potential standoff for the Baron in the near future, or for the Rift Herald rather. Geez, I really have no idea what point in the game we're at. We're at nearly 40 kills here. Feels like there should be a Baron. Not even close, actually.
Yeah, this should just be Citadel's Rift Herald when they want it. You do notice Bradley manipulating the bot wave a bit there, keeping it on his side of the map because he knows he's isolated. We see Nunu going in top. Here comes Bradley.
Breaking on out. Philip going to be caught out, going to be snared up. Philip will be looking to chase on down. Lawrence going to try to help on out his jungler, but the damage on a Philip is just not sticking. Here comes Nightstar and Pika Pika trying to buff up the rest of the team. Absolute Zero comes on through, going to get interrupted by Pika Pika as he tries to bail out the rest of his team. Dives on forward. Maddie's been spit out. Kenvi's falling lower. Nightstar trying to get excited. Cannot find the first kill. Executed by Bradley too quickly. And Citadel find the fight once again, but the knockup comes on across. Doxa looking to find some executes. Gets out through with the double knockup. Still can't finish a single member. Finally, it's going to be Bradley falling on down and Instinct going to join him. It's a double kill back on over to Doxa. 2-for-1 Conviction. Still pull out the fight.
Hey, you know what? Not bad. And we got Nunu still chasing on Bessa here.
Uh-oh, Doxa. I think he's going to lose out of this one. Or Willie gets a little bit of trade back despite the AD debuff. But no, Chomp is just too strong. Kenvi wins it out.
Yeah, I mean, those are those moments. You gotta hit those.
Oh no,
still rocking Triumph.
It's Trundle Gaming, baby. He's just chomping everybody. Can Nightstar get excited though? If Nightstar can find just one kill, he can clean them all up. But Kenvi's just got too much. There's the excited Jinx. One kill over to Lawrence, one kill over to Nightstar, and he's about to make it too. Kenvy's got nowhere to go, and Conviction with an unofficial ace.
I'm gonna say it. They can win. They can win. It's winnable.
I agree.
We just gotta proc the Jinx passive like this.
I mean, imagine if Nightstar actually gets a kill on a Philip or Kenvy.
Yeah, I really thought they could ace them here, but unfortunately the Tahm Kench ulti is down there to save the Nunu, so he just gets evaporated.
I'm losing my mind in this team fight, dude. It's so close. It's so close to being so winning for Conviction.
Clearly.
And I mean, props to Citadel. They keep it so close. Everybody knows how critical it is to not give the reset to Jinx, and they play on the absolute edge.
Yeah, I mean, and then at the end there, you see Yone fighting Trundle for the Raptors, unfortunately dying, but meaning that Jinx kills Trundle instead. So if anything, that could be blessing in disguise. This Jinx gets 3-4 items. I think that Citadel's gonna have a hard time answering him, especially with the Tahm Kench.
Possibly. Coming on through. Pika gonna spot out Diamond as they are working on the Rift Herald, and I mean, I think Kenvy's just immovable. They should be able to get this.
Yeah, Kenvy is very, very immovable at this point. I mean, if you can somehow burst him before he ults anybody, that would be maybe a way to stop him. But for the most part, he does what he wants, including this Otacon.
Sure. The Otacon is getting worked on by 4 members of Citadel. And they should be able to finish it on off. Looks like Conviction Star not going to try to challenge for it. They're going to be willing to let this one go. Thornbound Otacon secured. Faint XP lead going to be given on over thanks to that one. And they will get the Thornbound buff as well. Means that they have a little bit of reset potential themselves. Slowing up the rest of the team, dealing a little bit of extra damage once they do find those kills. Public execution! Wow. Maximum distance found onto Lawrence. Can he get out of here in time? He does! Realm Orb himself to safety. Say thank you very much, Seraph's shield, and he will stay alive.
Yeah, no kidding about the maximum distance or the Seraph shield there, but he does just barely survive that full range Mbessa ulti. I've been analyzing the game a bit here, and I think if we can somehow get this Jinx to an Infinity Edge before the next fight, that would be their best way in, but the Dragon's just going to spawn too soon. I don't think they can fight this, but it looks like they don't care.
Well, might try. Eyes on Maddie. What kind of magic can he do on this Nunu? Lawrence does show up to the fight. Doesn't have the Realm Warp, but does have a full health bar once again. Diamond going to be forced to flash away, but Maddie's all over him. Going to be able to stay on top the whole way through. Abyssal Dive connects. He gets blown up by Absolute Zero, and Nightstar's already excited. Starts firing away onto Kenvy, who's really just shrugging these off like they're nothing, but knows that he can't stay there to be locked down. The chain CC would be too much. Now they do have a slight numbers advantage here. Bradley is sitting behind them, and Conviction are none the wiser. Do Citadel still want this fight? Doxa finds Bradley. And now without the element of surprise, going to be tough to challenge for this Dragon. They're going to be able to pull it out.
They're betting the game on this one, I think.
I mean, you can't outsmite Nunu. Consume is too much. They will be able to get out. Philip. Philip's forced to flash away. Doxa has to snap back. Bradley's over the wall.
They're being corralled like fish. He tumbles
over, gets in onto Pika. Pika immediately starts off with the perfect execution. They will be able to find him. They will be able to focus onto him. Pika going to immediately gobble on up Nightstar to make sure that he can't be focused down. Doxa finds Bradley to be able to take the first kill of the fight. Now they're moving forward on Instinct. He's going to be forced to flash away. Kenvy going to be stuck in a 1 versus 5. Nightstar connects the Super Mega Death Rocket onto Instinct. And Conviction have no more risk to their ability to clean up the rest of this fight. Maddie coming on forward with the Super Mega, or that's the biggest snowball ever, rather, and they will be able to finish off Kenvy. Conviction finding 4 members in this fight, plus the Dragon, and Realm Warping for more. Philip going to be the next target, getting chased down, loses his spell shield. Lawrence is holding him down. Diamond came back, and he's about to leave the same way that he did the first time. Maddie will be killed, but it's going to be another kill back into Nightstar, and Conviction have found a foothold in the game, Fulls.
Oh, they most definitely have. I mean, just look across the board. It seems every single character has found their foothold. Ryze is having the Roa proc for the level advantage. Nunu's matching Trundle in gold almost, it feels like. Yone can actually survive this Akali with the shield bow. The Jinx is online with 3.5 items, and their comp is doing what they want. Tom Kench at their ready and everything. Just get Nightstar in these fights, get him excited, and he can ace them all.
They definitely can. This is a very strong Nightstar. He now has that Infinity Edge you were talking about. He is geared up, he is ready to fight, and he is going to hurt more than ever when he finds himself firing on towards Kenvy's Trundle. Ooh, biggest snowball ever. Nearly connects here. Pika Pika over the wall. They think they might have an angle onto Kenvy here. Kenvy going to be able to avoid the zap, keep himself safe. And Citadel still with a faint gold lead, but feeling like the game is slipping away from them as the scaling is coming online for Lawrence and Nightstar.
Yeah, now they want to be a bit careful here because we see them going a bit aggressive for that Scuttle Crab and such, but while this Trundle has a Randuin's and this Jinx does not have an LDR, he is extremely tanky. So I would wait for the LDR, I'd wait for the death cap on Lawrence, and then maybe revisit some of these aggressive positions.
Very possibly. We'll have to see. Death cap on Lawrence going to be ready here before too long. There's going to be Instinct up a little bit far. There's that counter we were talking about. Kenvy throws up an old trophy. He'll be able to block away Maddie's biggest snowball ever without too much trouble. And the Baron is now here. It is the all-seeing Baron. We'll have those caverns on the side. And we'll be making fights. Hard to say who that benefits, right? Because the pillar is really strong, but so is stuff like Fate Sealed in these tight little corridors.
I could see the Nunu benefiting from that.
Yeah, definitely. With the absolute zero covering kind of the whole route, as well as the snowballs.
Oh, yeah. And that phase rush coming in clutch, you can tell Maddie's having a nice time here on his signature pick. Let's get those Infinity Edge, those Lord Dominix, these items, right? And let's get those tier 2 boots on Rise. And at that point, I wouldn't even say Citadel's in the lead anymore.
Maddie dancing in the bush there, feeling confident, feeling comfortable on his 7, 7, and 11 Nunu.
You love to see it.
You do. His Leandri's Dead Man's Plate, soon to be Spirit Visage Nunu. This is quite the build coming out across.
Upside River being claimed here a bit. Let's see if this matters at all. No way they can start the Baron short.
They do it fast with Rise, Yone, Jinx, and Nunu.
Work to get out as well.
They win all smite fights too. I mean, if they get a second with it, they could snag it away.
Absolutely right. Okay, Maddie going in a bit. Trundle counters him though.
Interrupted by the pillar. Here it comes the equalizer. Really good lineup here. Fate Sealed comes on across. Here comes another dive in from Bradley. Lawrence already going to be taken incredibly low. They did manage to gobble up a Nightstar, but he's isolated and executed by Bradley. And there's the team fight that Citadel were waiting for. Bradley comes in on the flank, finds the priority target, claims a triple kill, and Conviction are forced back. Citadel Gaming bide their time, find their moment, and they may have just stamped their ticket to an ACL Grand Final. Conviction crumble as Nightstar is found by Bradley, and they start their siege on the Nexus. Citadel Gaming, with all this Tier 1 experience, move on 3-0. Do not drop a single game to Conviction in their ACL journey so far. It's a 5-0 record in this head-to-head as Citadel wins the series 3-0.
I mean, Nightstar was just a few Runan's autos away from getting excited and turning that fight in their favor, but Bradley, cold-blooded, perfectly executes him with the perfect execution.
I can't believe it. I can't believe Bradley pulled it out again, man. This guy is just unbeatable at this level of play. We saw it when he qualified for an ACL with CCG. When Bradley shows up at the tier 3 level, this guy is unstoppable. And he just bides his time perfectly here. That was R1. He will hold R2 the entire fight if he must to execute Nightstar.
Waiting out the Tom Kent shield. Boom, kills him before he can flash or barrier. Gets the rest with the triple kill. I mean, Bradley must have done like, if not 7,000 damage that fight. I mean, well played, man. Well played
to Citadel. Nothing else you could say. Citadel come out 3-0. And, you know, they did have the gold lead the whole way through. I do really think, though, from that 20-minute fight onwards, this game was a higher percentage win chance in a vacuum for Conviction Star. It is only by finding that perfect team fight that it comes up as a win for Citadel. And, you know, Bradley's the one with the triple kill. Bradley's the one who isolates and executes Nightstar. He gets a lot of credit. You got to give some to Diamond there as well. He finds a huge equalizer to set up for the fight. And as support, Rumble is second on the damage chart.
Yeah, it was very interesting that Flex picked the Rumble there, but clearly it benefited them pretty nicely. I do agree that this was Conviction's highest win percentage chance. I would say there, before they all kind of died at the end there from that engage from Bradley with Nunu starting it all off, they were, if not above 50% win chance. So it sucks to see them go out like that just before they can sort of get their comp online. But I mean, well played to Citadel. They're clearly the best team in the upper bracket. Let's see who can give them a final good showing for the finals of the ACL.
Yeah, they will be waiting for a week from today. See who they will be playing up against in the finals. Maybe not a week from today, because I think they're going to be playing in promo tournaments. So there's probably going to be some scheduling changes there. Stay tuned to Aegis. We will let you guys know. Now you'll see, I mean, Conviction Star not out of it. They will be waiting in the lower finals to play against the winner of Galaxy Gaming versus Pookie Bear. They have a chance to earn themselves another rematch. This was the second time they've played against Citadel this season. They got 2-0'd the first time, 3-0'd the second time, but they can earn themselves a third try here with a very good performance in that lower bracket finals. We'll see if they are going to be able to do it here. Does not look like we're going to be able to find an interview with anybody.
I could probably cook. If you give me a chance here, let's see.
Yeah, you could pick in the background if you want. See if anybody wants to hop on. Let's see what we got. But once we are done here, we will send you guys over to the Salt Mine, where they are currently streaming Galaxy Gaming versus Pookie Bear. Pookie Bear and Galaxy are currently 1-1. Galaxy Gaming with a significant lead in game number 3, but they will have a game number 4 thanks to that 1-1 score line. So Pookie Bear drawing first blood in that series. Galaxy winning the second game. And they are on elimination there. So that is a lower bracket matchup. Whoever ends up dropping will be taken out of the tournament and will be done in 4th place. There will be a 3rd place match then coming on up between Conviction Star and whoever is able to win out there.
Hold up. Bradley says he's too homeless. He has yet to take a shower. So probably he cannot do it. But perhaps in the finals, he will make sure he's available.
All right. We'll take that. Although that is going to require a win from Citadel.
Yeah,
so
I mean, if he wins.
Eyes on Bradley for what he will be able to do. Thank you for trying, Foles. Appreciate it, brother. But that will do it for tonight's stream. Thank you again, Foles, for hopping on. It's been a pleasure to have you on the stream, color casted alongside me for tonight. And thank you to everybody at home who has tuned on in. It has been a pleasure to have this upper finals along with you. We're going to send you guys over to the Salt Mine, where Pookie Bear and Galaxy Gaming are playing for a spot to face off against Conviction Star in that 3rd place match to qualify for who will get into the finals up against Citadel. For myself, from Caddy and Caddy on production, and from Foles here, we will see you all on Monday. Remember, 7 Eastern. We will be starting at that time for the lower finals as the 1-match stream there. And thank you once again to our friends over at Zen Market. Or it is promo code Aegis for 1,000 yen off your first international shipping fee. We will see you guys next time.
Farewell. GG, well played, everyone.
Zen Market.
Zen Market.
Zen Market.
Zen Market.
Zen Market.
Zen Market.
ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。